Well, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. We're going to kick this thing off. We got a few people that they're going to be coming in a little bit. We actually have Ibrahim with it, but I think he's having some technical difficulties. Ibrahim, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. You hear
Okay,
me?
good deal. Good deal. Good morning, Ibrahim. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing well this morning. I'm doing well.
Good deal.
And,
Ibrahim, what's your video, brother?
oh, okay. Let me turn it on. I'm in my car.
Oh, okay, okay. Ibrahim, and I got a question for you, man. I know you're up on this whole situation that happened last night. In the midnight hours last night, man, they passed a gun bill. They passed that gun bill. Ibrahim, what do you think about that bill that was passed?
Oh, you mean the one in the federal government?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh man, I think it's a shit show. What's up?
Think so?
Yeah, I think it's crazy, man. I think it's crazy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, it never bode well for us black people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's all I can think about it. But I've been watching I tell you what, what's been important to me is the January 6th committee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you see that yesterday?
Yeah. I saw a little bit of it. But Ibrahim, you just gonna change my whole topic, huh?
No, 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 no. I think. Wait 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I think the gun thing. I don't think it's enough in there, and I think it's too much in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Wow.
mean? Because they kind of reaching too far. The Supreme Court just passed the day that violates the Second Amendment rights and your
Mm-hmm.
13th and 14th Amendment rights, right? The
Uh-huh.
present gun law had in New York, which had all that and more. You know what I mean? So I think it's something that we should really address and try to change where it's going to benefit us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, they so scared everybody have a gun. Well, you scared of your own citizens, right? You know what I mean? Maybe it might be a little bit different if more people have access,
Mm-hmm.
legal access to with firearms, right? Because anytime
Oh,
you
we
you
oh we had if that be the case, Ibrahim, and your line is breaking up. Your line's a little choppy on me this morning for some reason. Your
okay,
line just a little bit choppy. But let
uh,
me ask you this: if that be the case and everybody had guns, are we really while moving forward? Are we also moving back to the Wild Wild West type days? Because during those days, everybody walked around with a gun on their side. Everybody had a gun on their side in the Wild Wild West, and that was a somewhat a barbaric area of our time because people just getting killed and shot down in the middle of the street just
mm.
because.
Well, we're getting shot down and killed in the middle of the street at a greater rate than it was back then. Everybody didn't carry a gun,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Everybody didn't believe in carrying a gun.
Hmm.
I mean, certain areas, it was necessary where you limit that when there's a lot of drinking and cattle route, just acting stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give people access to drink or drink or to have a gun, right?
How do you control that? Because in every state, I'm gonna say like every state has a city in it where people just gonna act like you said, act crazy and just be buffoons. Every city have a state that's like that. So how do you control that and not have these people just shooting each other dead in the middle of the street?
My personal opinion is that we need really a mental health thing, man. We really need to look over overall of our country and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't control people like that. We ain't controlling them now. If we
Mm-hmm.
control them now, or we pass more laws that will be controlled, we control people, and who the hell wants to be controlled? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't think it's right that. I think as long as a cop got a gun, I want a gun.
Mm-hmm.
As
Okay.
long as some other people got a gun, I want a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't carry guns around, right? I carry other type of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I really, myself. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
try to maintain myself and my temper and my respect for other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's most important.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, good. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, what up, right? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on with you, Captain? Hey, we asking a question about the gun bill that was passed yesterday, late last night. Kurt, what did you see about that bill, man? Pros and cons.
Well, for one, the pro is they try to do stuff. I mean, you know, they I saw where they added the even more intense background check.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? If you're trying to purchase a gun, they got some good things in there, right? It's a good start. My problem is, I don't care who you are, where you come from.
Make a slight right turn, then make a right turn on 4th Avenue.
City, Royal, anywhere to have their own personal AR-15, and it's a weapon of war.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna let folks have AR-15s, then you might as well not even start tripping. When I get this million, I go buy me a tank. That's a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You can't start tripping if I go buy me a Mark IV. That's a gun that shoot out grenade rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I piggyback on what you said. We ain't doing nothing but going down a road that we already done traveled, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Wild West already done been here. We already done been here.
Mm-hmm.
The federal government got amped up because guess what? Rich folks who was manipulating the system and taking people land and all kinds of things started purchasing what is called the Gatling gun. It was no longer a military weapon. I know we smarter than this, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know we is. We got to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to remove the gun lobby out of any kind of ability to lobby to keep certain guns. They're making a lot of money, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at the detrimental cost of human life, man. I'm sorry.
Wow.
You want to buy a gun, 9mm, sawed off. Okay. Well, come on, man. Rifle. Well, come on, man. What real need is there for the average human to have an AR-15? And then I close with this. They standing on this saying that actually came about. I want to believe it was during the Reagan administration.
Mm-hmm.
That said the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say this right here. There were some good guys with guns in Uvalde. There were some good guys with guns in Columbine. There were some good guys with guns in Sandy Hook. There were some good guys with guns in Las Vegas, Florida, and the list go on and on. But if you ain't got your gun with you, or if you're not right there when whoever whipped that gun out, what good is the gun that you got?
Mm-hmm.
What
That's
good
good.
is it?
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Hicks. Good morning, Hicks. How you doing this morning, sir?
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Hicks.
Good morning, family.
Hey, good morning to you, brother. What do you think about that situation that happened? The gun bill that was passed. What are the pros and the cons of that particular bill? If you're familiar with it.
I'm really not familiar with it. I just understand what the agenda is. But I think the gun rights came up during the Ku Klux raid on us, on black folks, when the AR took up the hammer then to petition that we could be armed because the KKK was riding through us without the weapons. And I just understand one thing about the nature of man and history, is how we behave when we have total control over person or people. Slavery was always enacted by a stronger group over a weaker group. You get the picture that everything was rosy in Europe and Africa, but there was raiding and taking over territories and making us slaves for thousands and thousands of years. Because my belief is, with me, I'll give up my gun when they give up theirs. When everybody around me disarm themselves, I'll disarm myself, maybe.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, Hicks. Do you think, because it's been said this morning that everybody, should have a gun and everybody has the right to have a gun, and that's true. Everybody do have a right. Excuse me. Everybody do have a right. But are we move while we're moving forward, are we also moving backwards to the time of the Wild Wild West, where and you know how barbaric that was, to a certain degree. So are we moving forward while moving backwards?
I think I think it appears that way on one sense, but I think the consciousness of the planet is growing to the understanding of the very, how they use the word, systemic cause of this violence. I've always found it interesting. Every time close to an election come around, the gun issue come up because it's a very strong issue for one of the parties, and it, it's just that, man. Then right around the time for some big decision, some kind of run in the church and kill people or do this stuff here. And I just don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in accidents happen like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know what's being applied, but it's happening at the very opportune time for the people that want to disarm the population.
Wow. That's true. That's absolutely true. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Now I can't complain. Welcome to the new day, people.
Hey, welcome to you as well, sir. Welcome to you as well. They passed that gun bill last night, man, and both sides of the aisle voted on it, and it actually passed. What do you think? What are the pros and cons of that particular bill, Rico? And are we moving forward while moving backwards at the same time?
Well, this argument has been going on for the longest, and it's going to keep on being the same argument. So, I really don't have no concern about it because, it's going to be another issue again in another 2 or 4 years. What I am concerned about is, does it have anything in it that can address what's going on in Chicago and what's going on in our community with our young people listening to rappers telling them to smoke on each other and kill each other and writing music about the murders that they did because it's out of control. And that is one of the consequences that come from non-attention from the gun situation. I mean, most people keep bringing up the same argument. Right to carry, right to carry, right to carry. Of course you need a right to carry. Of course you need to be able to protect your family and protect yourself. Of course you need to be able to defend yourself against bad people or bad groups of people. You may be outnumbered. So yeah, there's always a need for a firearm. And they try to make it seem like that is the basic thing. We're gonna take your gun from you. We ain't gonna take your gun from you. But in the details of it, what does it do to address the situation of children getting their hands on guns and mimicking what they're seeing on these video games? What is it doing to lower the desire of children to sooner or later, if they can't get their hands on them guns, at least try to find a way to invent them or make them themselves after they've seen them, been exposed to them on video games, or to get somebody else to go buy them one. What's keeping them from meeting people online that says, hey, they're young and vulnerable and they're out of control, they're extreme? Maybe we can finance them for our agenda and buy the guns for them. What's stopping that? See, there's a whole nother thing that needs to be discussed, you know what I'm saying? But once again, we get caught up in the same old conversation, same old debates, and it becomes status quo, business as usual. And at the same time, our society is deteriorating and seeing more and more extreme cases of gun violence because they refuse to address the real issues.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Rico, and I hear your heart on what you're saying, brother, but I don't know if because the heart of man is as it is, I don't know if they can write any bill that's going to adequately address those issues because the heart of man is so corrupt, man. The heart of man is so and you got such some element of people that just don't want to do right, that won't do right, and I think that they could really write all kind of bills to address certain issues, but they I don't think they can write a bill that's going to address the heart of man and make man stop being evil and cruel and manipulative. That's That's tough. That's tough. But yeah, valid points you're making, man. Very valid points. But I don't know how how they can write a bill that's going to address that. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Toya, that gun, they passed that gun bill last night. Are we moving forward at the expense of moving backwards? Pretty much like the Wild Wild West days, where everybody want to carry a gun, add a gun, and have the right. And yes, they have the right to carry the gun. They have the right to.
They was, they were sovereign back in the cowboy days.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are sovereign, you have to protect yourself. You don't have no military because you govern yourself as that country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why back in the Western days, they all walked around with guns like that because that's what they did to protect themselves, like kings and queens and all that. They did. These laws weren't in place to tell them what they could and could not have because they were sovereign citizens governing their own selves. So now we got to look at the fact of the matters of what has happened since then, because man's still been evil. See, I think the problem is we try to do something that God can't. This world been around for thousands and thousands of years, and humans have choices to be wicked and evil. They have choices. The spirits, a third of the angels went with the devil. They were angels. So what do you think the men are doing? So, there's a few issues that I think that we should address, right? Or at least look at. So they don't write bills to solve problems. They write bills to put laws in place to be able to, charge you, hold you accountable, or whatever, not to change you. And that's what their so-called means. However, are we addressing the real issues that causes the issues that we have, the gun problems? That's what we need to work on fixing. We're not addressing possible mental health issues. We're not addressing the fact that we ain't got God in our schools no more. We keep playing with God like we don't play. Then we let these humans do silly Then we let these humans do silly stuff and then want to blame it on God. And then, that's why I don't listen to God. I don't listen to good God rules because a human came over here and touched me. Well, blame the human, don't blame God. We don't have no standard no more in our schools, none in our police departments, not in our nowhere no more. Humans are loving themselves and they're doing what they want to do. So when we look at the issues, specialists know the issues. They know if it's lead issues and they don't want to face it. Now we got the infrastructure bill. They know if it's a lack of parenting, but they're not trying to increase minimum wage to make sure that parents have more time with their kids. They know it can be a lack of education because when your kid is not well educated, they look for all kind of things to do and all kind of trouble to get into. But are they doing anything as an incentive to help teachers, encourage teachers, maybe some after school programs? No, there are multitude of things that we can do to try to combat some of the issues we have in society. And that's not what we want to do because we make money off this stuff right here.
And
I can't make money. I can't get rid of all the police if we cut crime. So, this issue is bigger than what we're seeing or mentioning.
And see, and that goes back to what I was saying about the heart of man. Until the heart of man changes, none of these situations are going to change. They're going to pretty much stay the same because man's heart is not going to change. Man's heart is going to, if it's cruel and corrupt and it is based on a certain thing, unless you change the heart of man, none of the other situations, they can write a bill that say this, but is it going to change? Is it going to change the heart of man? Is it going to make the heart change the corruptness that's in a man's heart? Good morning, Charles. How you doing this morning?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, doing good. We're talking about that bill that was passed last night, and I'm asking a question: what are the pros and cons of that particular bill? And are we moving forward while moving back? Because everybody want to have a gun now. They have that right. But are we moving forward at the expense of moving backwards? And I say that, are we moving back towards the Wild Wild West days where everybody going to walk around with a gun on their hip and just be corrupt?
I haven't followed the bill, man. Which bill is this? Because I've been...
Well, they passed that gun bill last night. Well, they got all the different...
For Georgia?
For the state. No. Congress passed it.
Meaning that anybody can get a gun or what?
No, they making it real tough. They trying to say they're making it tougher for people to get. They're making it tougher for people to get guns. What they're saying, and the background check is more extensive, and the age at which you can get a gun has been lifted a little bit higher. I think it's 21 now. You have to be 21, but like I say, all that's good. But unless you change the heart, unless you change the heart of man, you still gonna have the same issue.
Yeah, that's true. But up until men heart change, we need to protect
Your
ourselves.
your thing is very low, brother.
Okay, hold on. All right, until man's heart change, man need to protect themselves. So the criminals gonna get the guns, no matter what. No, all these supposedly, well, not supposedly, because the reason why I'm using the word supposedly, because the definition of mass shooting has changed a little bit. So, but all these types of shootings and mass shootings, rarely, and when I say an NRA member, I'm talking about people who go by the law, has done these things. You understand? You don't see these things done by those people who are lawful. These are unlawful people who are doing these. So laws ain't gonna stop them. It
Charles,
might make them have a bigger penalty.
let me step in. Let me step in for a second, because I understand what you're saying, but let me say this right here though. Just and I want you to speak on this as well. The young guy the young 18-year-old that just bought the guns and killed the people in Texas school system, he didn't have a criminal record at all. They say his record was unblemished.
That's not. You understand what you just said, man?
Yeah, I understand. I say the man did not have a criminal record.
I didn't say you had to have a criminal record. I said it's a criminal.
You said criminal. You say criminals gonna get the guns, and you said criminals gonna get the gun, and criminals gonna do these different things. And if that be the case, my point to you was the guy that did the killers in Texas had no criminal record.
So what is he now?
See now you want to plead. Now you want to cut heads.
No, I'm not. You just did that.
No. Charles, you said to me, you trying to make your point. You say these criminal things, and all of a sudden you say now because of the fact I'll call you on it. Now you want to go back and go another direction, man. Say what you're saying, mean what you're saying, say what you said. You said criminal. You said all these criminals gonna do this, and all these criminals gonna do that, and all these criminals gonna do that. And then when I come back to you and I say, well, look at here, man. This guy didn't have. I'm just making a point, trying to help you, but because of the fact that I'm trying to help you, now you want to turn this thing around. No, that's not what we're gonna do. That's not what we're gonna do, bro. You said criminal, and because of the fact that I said that this guy did not have a criminal record, now you want to go in another direction, a totally different direction. Stop playing, man. I don't mind you saying what you're gonna say, but don't play. You playing now. Now you playing. Yes, sir.
Right. To a certain extent, he's sort of telling the truth. You don't have to have a criminal record to be a criminal. You're not gonna have the record.
But that's not what he said, Rico. That's not what he said. He said all these criminals. He said all these criminals. And then when I came back and I said, well, look here, this guy did not have a criminal record. Now he want to go in another direction. That's not what he said. I could agree with what you're saying, but that's not what he said just now. Toya, am I off base, Toya?
No, that sounded right to me, because it sounded like we were starting a stereotype.
Exactly.
And like only criminals are the ones committing these mass shootings, and that's not the case. You putting in a paperwork for someone who does not follow the law. I think that's probably what he was trying to say. For people who do not follow the law, don't say criminals, because on paper, bro, I'm a criminal. I'm a violent felon on paper. So it's not about criminals. It's about the people who are not following the law. Putting a bill in place is not going to help them. But don't stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
First off, I heard the whole thing, and I'm rocking with you right here on that one. First and foremost, any real criminal, this goes to the mental health aspect of what we got going on, right? That's my seatbelt thing. Any real criminal with half a brain do not commit crime to get caught. They don't want to go to jail. They commit crime to get away. That's a part of the game. These people are going in and killing a bunch of folk. I'm starting to believe that they clout chasing. I'm starting to believe that
idea is, okay, if I want the world to know who I am, I can go ahead and kill up a bunch of people and then kill myself. Or I put the police in a position to kill me altogether.
Yeah, that's it.
One of the things that I seen, one of the things that I did see was a bunch of money is going towards mental health. That's in the bill. It's all coming back to me. When I first spoke, I was like just waking up. But there's a large amount to mental health. There's a large amount of money going to safe schools. They're taking out what is called they insinuated what they call the I think the boyfriend thing, and they're giving incentives to they insinuating the boyfriend thing, which is basically the straw purchase. Whereas, like, I can, if you're not old enough to buy a gun, I can go buy a gun, and then once you hit 18, I can just give you the gun. So they're taking that out. And the last thing is they're giving incentives to states to follow the new red flag laws. So basically, a state will probably get more federal revenue if they choose to follow the red flag laws that has been elevated in the bill. On a positive note, this is the first time, y'all, and I want to say almost 20 years, because Obama was in office. Obama was in office for 8. George Bush was in office for 8. Obama was in office for 8, more than 20 years. And Trump was in office for 4, and it's now been 2 years since Trump's election. So this is the first time, and that's 20 years, right, that we have had a bill go through the Senate that has been truly, in my opinion, bipartisan. This is the first time. Like, normally, a sign of bipartisanship is we got a bill on the floor, and the bill just passed the Senate. It still has to pass the Congress, but it still has to pass, the Congress. But this is the first time we had a bill on the floor. Before, if Raheem put a bill up, and Raheem is a Democrat, and all the Democrats vote for it, and one Republican vote for it, they was calling it bipartisan. For this bill, 15 Republicans in the Senate, including the Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, voted in favor for this bill. My thing is, with the bill, I don't think they went further enough. I think the biggest problem that we have in America right now in terms of gun regulation is that you have too many people with weapons of war in their cupboards. You got poor Caucasian brothers who are but poor, but if you go in their house and go in their closet, they got a whole arsenal in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where I'm at with it, bro.
Good deal. Ibrahim, you had your hand up, brother. Ibrahim, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, sir. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Let me go to Rico. I'll come back to you. Maybe you need to go out and come back in, but we can't hear you right now. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Yeah, man, I get that about the heart of man, but what I was thinking of was the fact that you still have issues with the fact that these children are getting these guns.
Absolutely.
See, the manufacturers are still being held, not being held accountable. And I don't know if there's anything in those bills for that, because there is a way for them to make sure they can limit how these guns get out. I think, what was it, when Obama was in office, they found out about the gun running in the cartels. They got a hold of all them guns that Americans had supplied. And then, I can go pull up dozens of videos.
That's a good point,
of
man.
Children 13 and 14 years old with backpacks full of guns.
Yep.
Some of these Glock automatic guns that, what I'm saying? I mean, I haven't had these type of guns. They got them and they carry them around like toys. How they getting these guns? These ain't, this ain't the 18-year-old school shooter. These one of these young boys in Chicago that's been acting up way before him. See, somewhere there's some criminal behavior going on, and it's sinister and intentional behavior going on, actions that's getting these guns in these people's hands. And I don't know if anything in that bill is addressing that issue. You know, we are in a world where everybody knows that human beings do have deviant behavior. We know the heart of man. A lot of these manufacturers know the heart of man, so they know with the heart of this man what can happen if the wrong man get their hands on these weapons of mass destruction.
Absolutely.
Or the wrong child. So there has to be a level of responsibility on the manufacturers of the weapons of mass destruction to make sure that the wrong person don't get their hands on that nuclear football or that AR-15.
Rico, let me ask you.
For some reason,
Rico, let me ask you this question real quick.
We can't keep them out of our children's hands.
Rico, let me ask you this question real quick, because I love the point that you just made, man. Absolutely. And one of the reasons why, man, this topic right here, when we're talking about these guns and stuff like that, man, and our kids, I'm real passionate about that, man. So, you know, I don't want to have anybody come on here playing on such a sensitive topic. Man, our kids, our children are being killed, man. This ain't no time. This ain't no play conversation. This is serious. But my thing is this, right? Do you think, man, one of the reasons why, and again, it goes back to economics. Do you think it's based on something about economics? Because you're absolutely right, man. The manufacturers of these weapons should have to have some kind of responsibility in this. So how much of economics goes into this, into play, why they're not being held accountable or having their feet to the fire?
All of it go into economics because you got three different groups of people making money. You got the gun manufacturers making money. You got the prison system making money, and you got the funeral homes making money. Well, no, you got more than three different people making money. You got the T-shirt people making money. They're putting faces on the T-shirts. You got the judicial system making money. You got the attorneys making money. You got a whole lot of people making money off of these people, these young black boys killing each other. And it's so profitable to the point where it seems like they can't stop this epidemic.
Yeah.
But somehow, these young children that probably are barely past puberty, taking pictures with videos with guns. Look, I seen a video of my son with a gun. I got to get to Florida. What's going on? Who gave my son a gun?
Yeah.
Who giving these boys guns? And who making them? Who making these guns and making and allowing them to get out in such big numbers, large numbers like that? I can't even run across them like these kids can run across them.
Yep.
They know more about guns now than I do, not only just from getting their hands on them, but from being introduced to them in video games.
Exactly. Toy, you want to talk to me, man? It's an issue, man. And like I say, it has a lot to do with economics or people making money and profiting off what's going on in our communities with our children. And it's terrible, Toy. And that's one of the reasons right there. You know, I can't, this ain't nothing to play with. This ain't no playful. This ain't, you can't play with this topic, man, and try to, man, I can't let you do that. Toya, what's on your heart?
Well, you know, there's a couple of things, right? So now, you know, we used to have called drive-by. Now drive-bys are going to be considered mass shootings. So we got to be real careful here with this mass shooting thing now, because they're going to spend that on our community.
Yeah.
However, my father passed away from drinking alcohol. And I felt so strongly that the alcohol people need to be held accountable, because why they keep selling this alcohol, know what to do to people. Why they keep selling things, they don't give cancer, they don't give this, they don't give that. The fact of the matter is, it's regulated for it. Knowing that economics drives things, we have to remember that that's not the sole issue. The issue is us. You know, there are studies that we take for granted on what makes serial killers. We know it. We just talked about it yesterday, right? About spanking, domestic violence issues. And the last part, like Rico just said, where are they getting these guns from? And it's so funny because, you know, I say getting blocked on Facebook because, you know, they getting the guns from them, not us. We ain't got no guns to transport. We're not allowed to have no guns. Because as soon as you walk down the street with one, you're getting shot and murdered. So where are they getting them from? I ain't going to say it on here, but if you go on my live, I done already said where they come from. The same folks that's telling us what you can and what you cannot do. So we have to be really careful, right? And I think at the end of the day, we need sacrifice. Forget working 2 jobs. Stay your tail at home and watch your child and teach your child something. Forget trying to do all these things that don't matter and your child walking around here soulless. Let's talk about the fact that when you first have your baby, A lot of us don't pick up and hug our baby. A lot of us don't kiss our baby. A lot of us don't attend to our children when they're crying. And those mean things when they're babies. It does things to them, to their feelings. They don't have no compassion. There's a lot of things that happen when we don't provide the proper attention and nourishment to babies. I'm talking about babies. And when you don't do that, when you don't fulfill certain needs, that's how they can kill you in your face, shoot you dead, and not have no feeling about it because you ain't never loved them. We look over a lot of these kids. We know they're getting abused. We know something ain't right at home. Teachers see it, we see it, cops see it. We keep on walking past, and we talk about that little nigga. Oh, excuse me, that little one. When he grow up, ooh, I'm scared he gonna do something. And then when he do it, or Frit do it, or something happen, it's like we don't know why. There are so many issues that ain't got nothing to do with the cops, that ain't got nothing to do with the NRA, that ain't got nothing to do with the hospitals. On why silly folk like me, I'm using myself as an example, was evil and angry enough to go outside and play with guns. And I was just blessed enough not to get caught up in anything. But it's a certain anger that ain't got nothing to do with none of that we just talked about. On why humans do some of the evil, wicked things they do. And then when we come from a more professional aspect, like people on the outside that really care as America, it's like I said, we have these other issues we need to focus on. But that's not what we're not focusing on. That we're not focusing on not having military grade guns. And not all military grade guns are what's causing these issues. Not all mass shooters are young kids. Remember, at one point in time when they started shooting up post offices, that man was grown. How about that one out there in Vegas? That man was grown. How about that one out there on that highway shooting him and the son, teaching the son how to shoot? Because 9 times out of 10, our crazy behinds gonna teach our crazy behind it, crazy behind kids, and they act like we don't know why the heck they're crazy. So we have to really look at the fact that this is wickedness. There's nothing you can do to change wickedness except for focus on love. And actually, if we institute some plans, I mean, and we have to do it everywhere. It can't just be your household. It has to be with schools. It has to be with churches. It has to be with hospitals. It has to be the government. The same way they're implementing, trying to stop COVID, the same energy they need to put in trying to make sure that we bring well-balanced issues and problems and concerns before it gets to the head, because we all know the signs and symptoms. We just got to be willing to do our job to try to catch it, stop it, or fix it.
It's good. That's good. Brother Hicks, what's on your heart, brother? That's good. That's good, Toya.
Oh, whoa. Just listening. I was thinking about an article I read a couple of years ago, about maybe 10 years ago, in Chicago, where these kids found a load dropped in the alleyway full of weapons, all kind of weapons. And I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist in a sense, right? But I agree with the sister just spoke. She said so much that hit me right in my heart in terms of where it starts in the home. It starts in the home. It starts with the mother who rocks the woman. Man, she's so important. The whole thing, showing love, and the father being there and seeing a life that's disciplined. And I think what that does, it pulls them out of the area of getting caught up in it. You know, I think the thing that saved me ultimately from that kind of life was that my mother forced me up to the age of 12. My father sort of forced me to go to church. I went to Sunday school. I went to the Wednesday service because I was under their authority and made me go. I didn't think it was sinking in, but what it did, it created inside of me a conscience of what was right and what was wrong. So when I was out there doing wrong, I knew I was doing wrong. But I've been around so many people that didn't have that balance, and it wasn't wrong to them. It was just their lifestyle. But I think it starts at home. It starts with the element of love, and it starts good conversation. But it's a problem with so many people are conspiring to destroy these people simply because they see us as worthless. And it would appear to be worthless. You know, I look at kids in school. I mean, even the police staff, the various police staffs are saying there don't seem to be that element of respecting the authority. Whether it's the teacher, the preacher, We've lost that. We've lost that. We don't teach discipline and respectful authority.
Exactly. And Curtis, he said a couple of times in what he was saying just now, it starts in the home. How do we start it? Because we've been saying that for years. It starts in the home. It starts in the home, and I agree. I'm not saying that it's wrong. That's true. But Curtis, how do we start it there? Because some homes just not doing it.
I've been saying this for years, and I've been saying this on this broadcast for a while. But the moment that America chose its pocket over its people is the moment where the lessons stop.
Yeah.
What has to happen is, what happened in America is America went to a 24-hour, 7-day a week work week. And when you force people to start working 2 and 3 jobs, one of those kids in that house, if not all of them, is going to experience and go through some form of neglect. I didn't say abuse, I said neglect. And to be honest with you, neglect can be way more powerful than abuse.
Wow.
You understand?
Cool.
And just to go ahead and put it out there, Toya hit it right on point. She hit it right on point. When I tell you she hit it, she caught a 120-mile-per-hour fastball coming straight over the plate in the Brooklyn Zoo and took it out of the park. We have to take a look. And Raheem, I'm sorry, T. Raheem, I think that was Rico that said something about the Obama thing. That Obama thing went down right here in Maryland. When they denied Obama the right to go on and put the Brady bill back up, it went down in Maryland. It went down on Highway 81 and Highway 70, the intersection of 81 and 70. 70 takes you from Maryland all the way to Northern California. 81 takes you from Maine all the way down to Charleston. It happened right there. They denied that man. And then when the reporter asked that man why was he so fervent about it, the man said, we have intel that they are running guns, weapons of war up the 81-70 corridor coming out of Tennessee. That's what he said now. The very next week, guess what happened, man? They jam up 2 white vans coming right up there, but they had footage where 3 or 4 had went by.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Toya. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. My question is for you. How many years have you been trained as a counselor? And if Ms. Cassandra's on here, I wanted to know that too. How many years has it been since you have been trained or been in the counseling field?
I'm coming up on my 25th anniversary because I'm 50.
25th.
So I'm coming up on my 25th anniversary.
Okay, so let me ask you. When you started to train for that, did they or did they not tell you the classification or the ingredients on what makes people do what? The psychology of people. Neglect to normally make it. Okay, all right. What changes have they made in 25 years to try to adapt or curb those behaviors with the information that they've had for 25 years? And if we've done nothing with the information we have, that's the problem. So how long have you seen any changes in 25 years, any new campaigns, any new programs to be implemented when y'all deal with these case studies that actually work now?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I was great throwing it out there. We got to talk about book theory as opposed to applied theory. Programs that actually work, I'm going to tell you, it's probably, and I might be overshooting here, it's probably 1 in every 50 to 100.
Wow.
Right? The problem is that the programs that they keep putting out there, the programs are how can I put this, man?
Tell the truth. Tell the
you
truth.
get more money for giving the referral than actually doing the service, providing the service. Providing the service, yeah, providing the service takes up too much time. You got to have too many employees. That's one. Two, and last but not least, here's the catch. It goes back to something Rico said and something that I've said several times before. They are not going to realistically dig into the mental health aspect of things because mental health costs too much money. You can't gauge it. So being as though you can't gauge it and it can change and transcend and move and transform over a period of time, you'll be stuck. I don't want to say in a rabbit hole because that sounds like I don't care, but you'll be stuck in a rabbit hole, never providing a service. Oh God, so you just asked some powerful questions. I wish Cassandra was on here because she could roll off of what I'm saying.
She just came on.
It's
Curtis.
shameful. It's shameful.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
She on.
Yeah.
She on.
She just came on.
Yeah, that's for her and Curtis, Raheem, please, because I would like to know.
Okay.
Like Curtis is going somewhere.
Okay,
but,
Toya, let
like,
me say this, Toya.
No.
Toya, let me say that. Cassandra, she just came on. I think she missed your question unless she was listening online. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? Were you listening?
Yes, I was listening online.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I felt her spirit. I knew
that was good. Yeah, that Toya, that is a powerful question, and I've been doing mental health probably about the same as Curtis, about 25 to 30 years. And man, the programs, I mean, everything he said nailed it. It really isn't a whole lot. It's so much money out there. I feel like it's like a waste of money almost, because you need people in order to make these programs really work and be effective. And we just don't have, the people are there, but the government is not willing to pay people to reach. Man, I want to cry because I'm working, I started back working with mental health youth, Toya. If you could see, and I'm working in a girl facility, right? From these babies, 15, 16, and I mean, they are messed up, jacked up. And I'm serious. Most of it is because of, different types of abuse. And you just don't have the people. The government is not willing to pay to have these issues addressed. So now if you got a kid at 14, 15, ready to kill themselves and kill other people, I mean, some of the fights that they have inside those facilities, it will boggle your mind. You be like,
and Cassandra, I was going to ask that question. I was going to ask that question, Cassandra. Do they have the potential of being dangerous?
Yeah. What? What? Every day they're fighting each other. And the reason they're there, I was telling you about the young white girl. She got in her mentality, man. She is like, I will kill you. And them black girls in there, 2 times her size, like, man, they definitely crazy for real. I mean, these kids are dangerous. And these are girls.
Wow.
These are girls. Think about what the boys are going through. With that, testosterone going on. It's sad. It makes me cry almost every day.
Cassandra, how do you go into that, knowing the situation, and how do you go into that with a positive attitude?
You have to realize.
You work in Georgia, right? You did counseling in Georgia, right? And Kurt, you do counseling where?
Baltimore.
2 different states, and they got the same complaint. Come on, man.
Cassandra, how do you go into it with a positive attitude?
Man, these are our children. I don't care, black, white, I don't care. These are our people. They're human beings, and they're damaged, and we have to go in there like, hey, baby,
You know, I mean, they could be cussing you out, and you go like, baby, it's gonna be okay. You know,
that's right.
You want to talk. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, and I say, oh my God, you look so pretty today, or look at you did something different with your hair. There is a young girl there. I think she is 16, black girl. She's about 250 pounds. I mean, about 250 pounds, tall girl. I mean, she put fear in your heart just looking at her, you know. But she did something different with her hair, right? She did these little twisties. I said, girl, you did that with that hair. And she was like, and she's real hardcore. She's like, thank you, Miss Cassandra. And I said, and then you try to give them positive affirmations. You cannot, even though you know what they're doing, how they're acting, you got to go in there with the heart if you love people. I sat last night with two of the other counselors, right? We sat in the room, you know, they were in bed because I'm doing overnight shift. And we just talked about, man, all of us were in tears. We're like, man, why do you do this? That's how we got this. And somebody mentioned it's like, why do you do this? You could be, you know, doing something else with your degrees, blah, 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 blah. Man, it's about these people, these kids. We want to help them.
That's good. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart? We're going to go to Badger as well. Badger, good morning. Rico, what's on your heart?
One thing about the truth is I love it. And I just heard a whole lot of truth. Now, how does that have anything to do with the gun bill? But I do know how to make that relate. Those people know the same thing that Curtis and Cassandra know. And they created the conditions. They created this behavior. And guess what would happen if they fixed everybody that was mentally ill and they made peace? Why the jails wouldn't be profitable and the funeral homes wouldn't be profitable and the judicial system wouldn't be profitable and they'd be messing up their money if they fixed it. So now we talking about the gun bill. Everything they said was true. So I ain't finna dismiss nothing they said. Everything they said that was true. And guess what? The psychoanalysts that these companies hire know the same thing. They know the same thing that Cassandra and Curtis know. But see, this is where the problem comes in at. Even though these conditions exist and we work a 24-hour schedule and the parents aren't at home the way they need to be and all this start at home, these same psychoanalysts notice that work for the NRA and they work for the Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty companies, the military people that make these war games, they know the same thing you know. And they put the guns in the alley for those kids to get. See, now that's what the problem is. So now out of all that was said, and we still know these conditions exist, and we say, well, we need to fix this at home, and we need more quality time, and this and that. We need to counter what these people are creating. We still ain't found a way to hold these people accountable for putting them guns in the alley. See, them kids exist now. You might not be able to fix them. You have to start over with the new ones and see if you can catch them. But for the ones that's out here shooting us in the face and acting a fool and shooting up the schools, even the people in Las Vegas, the grown people, all of these people are still not fixing that access to guns that people shouldn't have. Or maybe an extreme amount of access. You know, think about it. Somebody is building an arsenal. If somebody's building a cast-held weapon, they can't shoot with one of them at a time. So what they need all them guns for? They planning on doing a lot of shooting, a lot of damage. And he got access to them. So does it stop the access to a person making a stockpile? Well, he got the right to only many weapons as he wants to. But we know the conditions of this world and of this country. So if this is the conditions that exist, and then you see people starting to have these other behaviors, you might need to stop your participation in creating all these guns that they're going to get hold to. Because like I said, the psychiatrists that work for these big companies that market these things, they know the exact same thing that Curtis and Cassandra know. They just making more money to make sure that the companies benefit, the prisons benefit, the funeral home industry benefit, the judicial system benefit.
See,
and it keeps on evolving.
that goes all the way back down to accountability. And we talked about accountability on here from time to time. We talk about that, and nobody's being held accountable.
So the gun bill doesn't address that. That goes back to the first question that I asked, because somehow these guns are being manufactured, and then after they're being manufactured, who cares what happened with them? Just give me my money.
I made the guns. I made them. Let me go to
y'all got what y'all wanted.
Hey, Raheem.
Yeah.
Can I just add something real quick?
Real quick. I got two people to get to.
We cannot forget that the first time a gun the first time a gun manufacturer has been held accountable was within the last year. But now, are they going to allow that access to be countrywide? Because the Sandy Hook, I think it's Smith & Wesson. I can't remember which manufacturer it is, but they was ordered to render $32 billion for that shooting in Sandy Hook, right? And just a fact, they just did a study here in Maryland just this year, because we got a whole lot of gun violence going on here, and I think they said it's like 64% of the guns that's being recovered by the police departments, if there was murder committed and or if they pull somebody over, or suspicious activity, they searched and found a gun. They saying 64% of the guns that's being recovered aren't even guns that's made by the manufacturer. They're ghost guns. So they're guns that a guy done bought off a line that has no serial number on it or anything. So that's something that, like Rico was saying, something has to go in the bills, or there needs to be legislation that tackles not only the manufacturer, but the process of even being able to get a gun.
Yeah. And so, and like I said earlier, though, and very valid points. But like I said, I like to deal with both sides of the coin. And my thing is this right here. They could write a bill, and I'm sure all y'all would agree with this. They could write a bill to say what they want to say and tackle in the area. But if you don't change, again, if you don't change that heart of man, if a man is cruel, if a man is corrupt or nasty or whatever, he's gonna be that. Whether you write a bill that say this or say that, and I do understand that it have to be done. The bills have to be written, and you have to do your due diligence. But at the same time, you also have to go in there and figure out a way to change the heart of man, because outside of that, we fight a losing battle. I think. Tucson, good morning. What do you say to that? Badger, come to you next.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Yeah. All right. I try to stay in my lane, and I don't get into conversations where I don't know nothing about too much about it. So
do you think
but I can say something about what you said. The rest of it, I don't know, RA and all of that other stuff. But I do know, if you don't get man right, you can make all the laws, he still ain't gonna obey them. He ain't gonna train his children, he ain't gonna raise his children, he ain't gonna do none of that. And if you don't get a child when they are small, then you continue to and if you don't even know how to raise a child, or you don't have to, or if you don't love that child, you don't care for that child, somebody going to give that child some attention. And then depends on where, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Depends on where the child grew up at. But then you say that, but then we get children that grows up in a good home, and they kill their parents.
Wow.
I'm talking about, we've seen it over and over and over again. And nobody knows why this child just wakes up in the morning and decide, okay, because of whatever's going on in his life, he said, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to some church or some school or some mall or some gathering, and I'm gonna just take out a lot of people. What is going on in the heart of that person whatever reason, in that mind. So anyway, I'm gonna listen in today. I ain't gonna say too much, nothing. I might learn something.
Hey, we both might. We both might. Badger, they just passed that bill last night. Badger, what are the pros and the cons of that particular bill? And are we moving? Are we moving forward at the expense of moving backwards, going back to the old Wild Wild West days?
Well, I read through a good bit of that bill, and there's always hope that it will lessen the chances of school shootings and things like that. But but I also know how a lot of the street stuff works. I'm also very aware of the lack of mental health in our country. Mental health access. Um, so there's many factors that go into these things, and one of the unless they change the wording, I'd have to go back and look. But one of the things I thought was funny is you can still get like those drums or something for the 22s, and they can still buy single shot weapons, which there are single shot shotguns and things of that nature. And I think pistols are something that can only take up to like a certain amount of rounds. So they're trying to, once again, lessen the amount of automatic or semi-automatic to certain age, like for the certain age, and to some of the general public.
But Badger, what I think what they're missing is a derringer that shoot one time could kill somebody.
Exactly, and that's what I was getting to. On top of that, unless you're shooting a musket, if a person wants to, they can turn just about any modern gun into an automatic just by taking it to a gunsmith. So there's I sometimes I laugh to not cry, because to me, I mean, most of y'all know I hate guns anyway. I wish guns were never invented. I'm that kind of person. Yet I'm not gonna tell people not to own one. I just want people to be responsible with them. So the issue that I see is it's the mental health access. People are bullied all over the place. You have the actual really crazy people that are doing shootings. You've got people that, for all we know, could be someone that's easily influenced to do something. And honestly thinking that there's nothing wrong with it. And then you got the people that do know. So like it's such a large spectrum. This bill is, to me, it's just the politicians trying to figure out who's going to get elected. Elected. Oh my God, I can't talk. Um, it's a power play. That's all it is. If they're, I get so angry when we talk about things like this, because there are laws about ghost guns and everything else. They can have the amount of people to actually do their job, but then you're going to have people screaming all kinds of stuff. So as far as the American society goes, when it comes to weapons, there's no bill. You either make a bill or you don't. So you're either going to piss off half of America or the other half. And to me, we need to be more focused on healthcare.
Wow. Let's stay right there for a second. Let me go to Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, we're talking about that gun bill that passed last night. What are the pros and the cons of that particular bill, Leonard? And are we moving forward at the expense of moving backwards? If everybody gonna have a gun, what changes that from the Wild Wild West days?
Would that be Senate Bill 2938 that you're talking about?
Yes. The one that they bipartisan passed last night.
Right. I mean, it's a good bill. It has a lot of good stuff in there. Let's make sure I think the big thing is to go back to see the impact that it's going to have.
What is it missing? What is it missing, Leonard?
Well, I can't say it's missing anything. It has everything in it that both houses wanted. It's a good step forward in terms of mental health and background checks and things of that nature. There's still a provision in there. It wasn't completely restricting the possession of handguns by people under 21. It provides a mechanism, supposedly, that go back and checks juvenile records and all types of things associated with anyone.
Hold on, stay right there. Now, you say go back and check the juvenile records. When a person turns 18, those records supposed to be sealed, aren't they?
No. Records are only sealed if by request.
No.
So everybody has access to the record, especially a juvenile record that includes most crimes. You don't know too many people that look like us that have sealed records or anything like that. Usually sealed records are, I would say that's it's never been in the case to protect the majority of people. Sealed records are usually special cases where someone has an interest in someone's future. Okay. That is not normal business when we're talking about sealed records.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you this question. I want to go to Joy for Jay. We got Joy for Jay with us this morning as well. Truth of the matter, realistically, this bill that they wrote, because I said earlier, you could write a bill to say whatever you wanted to say and pass that particular bill. But unless you change the heart of man, that bill is not gonna make a difference. I say all that to say this. Do you think it's gonna make a difference? Realistically?
Well, first of all, bills are never written to change men's hearts. That's one. That's not that has nothing to do with this bill. No bill, really. This bill directly goes after those issues that we had not addressed in law, as it relates to straw purchasing of firearms, trafficking in firearms, the mental health piece associated with obtaining firearms. It is a good compromise, because you have to understand these groups have not passed these bills in the past.
Okay, but my question is, I want to make sure that you address this question. Do you think it's gonna make a difference?
Yeah, yes, it'll definitely make a difference. Will it completely make it like some of you want it to be? No, because it's not rational what you all are talking about. This bill does something specific. It don't address hearts.
When I say that the heart of man is corrupt, I think that's very rational.
But it has nothing to do with this bill. This bill is written to address the issues that we have with purchasing firearms, laws related to criminality as it relates to having arms illegally, especially involved when there are other felonies, or even if there is an intent to commit certain types of issues, like a school shooting. If I know you want this gun to use a school shooting and I give you that gun, you're liable.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay.
So it holds a lot more people responsible. It holds states responsible to report issues of individuals who they may have, like say for instance, with people under 21. If you got a gun, want a gun, and you're under 21, but for some reason you're flagged, that reporting goes up now to the federal level. The state is now trying to hold the states more accountable for reporting individuals
I like
even
that.
who have guns and things like that.
And one of the reasons why I like that, because if I'm here in Georgia and I try to buy a weapon and I'm flagged and I can't get that weapon and it goes to the federal level, that eliminates me being able to go to Virginia or North Carolina or somewhere like that, because now I have a flag on my name and I can't go to those particular states and buy a weapon. If that's what it's doing, that's good.
Well, that's a different part of the bill. You're talking about interstate transfers and things of that nature. It addresses that particular issue in the trafficking.
Okay. No. What I'm talking about is if I try to purchase a gun here in Georgia, I got to go to Georgia for J2. If I purchase a gun here in Georgia, and if I'm say I can't get a gun here in Georgia and it's flagged and it goes to the federal level, which take the whole over the whole state of over the whole United States of America. Talking about the states, what am I talking about? And and my thing is now, if I try to leave here and go to say South Carolina and buy a weapon, if I'm already flagged here, is that also saying that I'll be flagged there in because it's on the federal level now? Am I also flagged in the state of South Carolina?
Not necessarily, no.
Wow, that's what they need to do. That's
Not
what they need to do.
necessarily. I don't think it's that detailed. That's going to take a lot of coordination by states. And
Well,
sometimes you're dealing with a federal firearms license versus a state license.
Okay, hold on for a minute. Let me go to Global Jay. Hold on for a minute. Jay, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good day, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm better than ever, man. Just listening to you gentlemen on the Morning Glow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you, man. What's on your heart about this whole bill, man? What's on your heart? Talk to me.
Well, I'm just listening again. I don't know much about it. As far as the gun bill, I do like what I'm hearing the young man say as far as making it harder to get a gun with background checks, with different screenings for people who are mentally not there and things of that nature. But as he said, it's not going to change the heart of man. Man's heart is going to continue to be the way it is until they themselves want to be changed. A law is not going to change a man's heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. That's good. Cassandra, talk to me.
The mental health piece. Let's say this: the people that want to use guns criminally, they're not even trying to buy a gun legally. Period. So so this bill will not affect them at all. So let's put that on the table. It won't affect them at all. Period. Because they have ways of getting guns on the street. Y'all know that. I could go buy a gun right up the street from where I live in Atlanta, just know the right person to go to. You know what I'm saying? So if a criminal or somebody with bad intentions want to get a gun, they're gonna get it regardless. They're gonna get it regardless. My concern is the mental health. I'm so glad that they have that piece in there. But like I said, I have a friend that has a 20-something-year-old that has been mentally ill for years, and he went and purchased the gun off the street and came in the house and threatened, and now everybody's afraid to call. Afraid to call the police to get the gun removed from him because they're afraid something is going to jump off, that he gets killed. But the whole house is in fear because they know he has a gun, and he's not. He goes into serious violent rages. So you talking somebody that has their whole house under hostage, basically, because he could go on the street and purchase a gun with no problem, and he has mental illness.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Toya, and that's a serious issue right there. What's on your heart, Toya?
Wow, that's kind of deep for me because I'm not gonna live like that.
I think he froze.
Yes, he did.
I was thinking the same. Yeah.
Well, I missed out on the previous conversation. And generally, what were people expecting, or what's the issue here today?
You got me again. I'm just listening in as far as the bill is concerned, and as far as screening more people and things of that nature. I didn't. That's all I know. So I'm pretty much just a hearer today of the word.
Because the issue it's not about unregistered guns.
What was the bill number you said?
It's Senate Bill 2938. I believe that's the one you all are discussing.
Okay.
And that is the joint effort that came about, and actually that there's still going to be some changes and things to this particular bill.
Oh, that one.
But in general, the bill does more than any gun legislation we've ever seen. And that's the biggest issue, is that the Senate actually agreed to pass this bill. And it has a lot of things in there related to what the House originally wanted as well. So this is a good bill. Now, the reason why this bill was passed is due to the number of uh, terrorist type issues that we have were committed by people with legal guns.
Exactly.
And that's the issue. The people that are committing these horrendous shootings are using legally obtained firearms.
Mm-hmm.
So this bill will address that particular issue which people requested.
Okay.
It actually
All right,
refers
everybody.
back to the Brady bill that was signed as well.
Hey, Leonard, hold,
For
hold, hold on, hold on 1 second, Leonard. I want to go back to Toya. I got kicked out. I appreciate y'all for keeping it going like that for me. Definitely appreciate it. Toya with a T. What's on your heart, sis? Toya? Toya, there?
Yeah, I'm here. You can let them finish.
Okay, go ahead, Leonard. Finish your thought.
We were talking about what actually the bill does, and I didn't, because I wasn't on earlier. I don't know the general consensus with you all, or what you may have been discussing or had problems with this bill.
Well, basically, it's not that, excuse me, that we had a problem with the bill. It's just that we were saying, my thing was, what are the pros and cons is what I asked. And are we moving forward in the expense of moving backwards? Because if everybody have a right, if everybody want to carry a gun, and everybody certainly have a right, if they're legal to do so, to carry a gun, what is going to change that from the Wild Wild West days?
Well, everybody does have a right to carry a gun. You have to remember, the Constitution provides for the carrying of guns. This bill was not created to take away people's guns. This bill was created to regulate a lot of things like the sale and manufacture of weapons, the transfer of weapons, they dealt with the age limit related to those individuals under the age of 21 who have access to certain types of weapons. It also provides a lot of resources from the federal government to the states to fund anti-crime prevention intervention programs, mental health programs, and things like that associated with this bill, and those individuals that may have mental illness and try to purchase a weapon. So those things were not there before. So what we hope is that the states use this funding and do due diligence in making these things happen in the states. And that was the issue. The Supreme Court struck down New York City's law. Remember, New York City, I believe, had a handgun ban.
Yeah.
So that's different. A handgun ban in a particular locality is different than what this bill addresses. The Supreme Court said that, one, that's unconstitutional, what they did in New York, by just saying can't nobody have one. Surely everybody can have a handgun.
Okay.
Each state can deal with whether or not they want it concealed or whatever, or anything like that. This is not what that bill addresses. This bill goes after a lot of the loopholes and things like that related to a lot of the incidents that have occurred that have been mass shootings. And one of those,
so the main focal point is on is a big part of the focal point is on the mass shootings.
Yes, because the guns that are used in mass shootings are usually obtained legally. So what has happened is, okay, you go after the guns on one side, and then you also provide for what people were saying about the mental health. You put some in your bill for that. Then you have to have something for those producers. So you warn the people that do the shows and produce these guns to say, hey, you're going to be guilty if these guns that you're selling are being used a certain way, especially if you have knowledge, discussion, or anything about wrongdoing or criminal activity. It's almost like RICO. It's almost like RICO in that fact. If you knew, you guilty. If you knew if you knew somebody was going to shoot up the school and you didn't do nothing, you didn't say nothing, and you helped them in any type of way or discuss, they're gonna hold that against people.
That's good. That's good.
That's encouraging people to tell or inform law enforcement these types of things, like you see them on Facebook.
So they get, watch this. So they got a snitch bill tied up in this bill. I got you. I understand what you're saying. Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, they know they need that. They need this too. But you know, I can't own a gun. Hey, God already told me, hey, I just can't do it. I'm too hot-headed. But I don't want a gun to if somebody got one pointed at me, then I'm gonna need it. Because of the position of we're in the world, I think they're needed and necessary. And I think there's a lot of things that need to go with it. Let's get into solutions now. All schools need to have gun education, period. From kindergarten or first grade or whatever grade they mean. It definitely needs to start in elementary on how to handle, how to control, how to deal with guns. That will, giving them the knowledge will, and it's proven statistically, probably curb a lot of those issues. And they need to run those classes all the way until college, I think, like sex ed or anything else, because it's becoming a problem. I think also we need to provide our schools and our businesses and even our homes with evacuation plans, and we need to come up with tools that will help us in the event that a mass shooting, which means a person who has a gun, whether it's bought, sold legally or illegally, is coming to shoot up a bunch of people. We need to have or know protocol and have different things that we can do and instill in our kids, our churches, the things that has happened so far to be able to help us. And a special, I don't know what, tactical police team or unit or something, or they need to have something so we can avoid what just happened in Texas, where they just stood by because they never had to shoot their gun in 20 years. So now here comes this kid shooting up everybody instead of you having some heart to go in there and take them out. You know what I'm saying? You let them shoot up tons of people. There are protocols we need to start putting in place now, other than just this bill. I don't think that, and I got to do some research, but I don't see how the age and the restrictions that they put in the bill correlates with the mass shooters we've had for the beginning of time. But what I can say is that from the mass shooters from the beginning of time, we the people, we the government, haven't done our job in mass shooter proofing our country. Neither have we the people. You know what I mean? So as we address this issue, just like drunk driving, just like COVID, just like, voting, things that are issues and need change now and immediately. It's going to take a collective work and effort, and more than what we're doing. Like the same way we gathered together and made sure, we needed this for COVID, that for COVID, and this for COVID. It's the same way we need to rush to try to put things in place about these guns, and if we're going to put a bill in place, however we need to do it, wherever we're going to get the funding from, I don't know, scream from the rooftops before you let it get to your household. We need to start educating our kids, period. We got to do something other than just standing by and looking, you know what I mean? So I think that's what we need to start talking about. We need to start putting things in place other than this bill, because like Rico said, how's that going to stop the next school from getting shot up next week? Or the next party from getting shot up later on tonight?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go to Hicks. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, I'm here. I'm just really listening to solve the conversation. But let me tell you just a short thing, just a little short thing. I got convicted and sent to prison. While in prison, I went to college. Situations changed through the legal process, and I was released as a full minimum. I went to school, took sociology, law and justice, and history and some things. I did well in school for the first time in my life. I got pulled from prison to start a program, paraprofessionals. It was all the therapists are all ex-convicts, all had various crimes, and we went to the institution, selected a group of kids to come out and work on our program. The program was a work program during the day. They got paid. They cleaned up lots in Camden, New Jersey, a real bad city at that point. And it was effective, very effective program, as long as we were hiring ex-convicts, because some kind of way the kids looked at someone that was like them, that it came through it, and they had a little more insight to their ear. And what was doing then, it was sort of like being a big brother, being the parent that these kids didn't have. Very successful program. Long as it was a paraprofessional program. Once it got institutionalized and came under the juvenile justice system, they began hiring just regular counselors and therapists. The program still was pretty successful, but it wasn't successful as it was in the first 5 years that we ran that program. So, and I think this was talking about guns. Camden, if you know anything about Camden, ooh.
Yeah, Camden can be rough. Camden can be rough. Yes, sir. That's good. That's good. Joyful J, what's on your heart, brother?
Again, I'm just listening. Just learning the different perspectives to this bill as far as why they passed it, and who's excluded from getting guns and things of that nature. Because I don't know much about it.
Okay, good deal. No. Good deal. Curtis, talk to me, brother.
Well, I mean, the bill is a really good start to address an initial issue. I really do like the fact that they're willing to put more money into the school security system, and it looked like, from what I see, it looked like they're not just talking about metal detectors and things of that nature. It looked like it's almost specific to putting human beings. One of the ways that you can kind of thwart a lot of these school shootings is to cover the doors. Just to cover the doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody just can't walk into your school. This is not 1980. But one of my larger concerns right now in terms of programming is, I'm going to give y'all the hustle game real quick. And I don't know if Cassandra is experiencing this down in GA, because the southern states tend to have a little more oversight than your northern cities. But what it appears to be going on is people done figured out that program resourcing is a means to, one, legitimize money, two, to gain grant money. So what it appears is you got people collecting grant money and this, that, and the third for services, but the services is outsourced. The services are not being rendered by the company that a given person comes to see to receive services, right? So what happens is you have this wheel, I call it the referral wheel, where you come in to get some form of mental health services, or the courts tell you, look, you need to have some kind of therapeutic interventional services. And pretty much everywhere you go, refer you somewhere else. Right? So on the mental health issue, in my opinion, that can be a problem, because now this person has been referred, and I'm been put on the wheel, but the services have not yet properly started. Or because of their mental health issues, all of these referrals, and they go to these referrals, and oh my God, the intake process is gritty, Raheem. When I tell you it is gritty, it is gritty. Some people my intake packet alone is almost like 3.5 inches, 4 inches thick. You know what I'm saying? So now you're talking about a person that is suffering from, let's say, heightened anxiety, bipolar depression, this, that, and the third. You making them sit there all that time. They get antsy, and next thing you know, they just clock out. They completely check out. You know what I mean? So there's some things that we need to clean up. But I mean, all in all, I think it was a push in the right direction. You got some people on the streets now, man, that's got guns. I'm telling y'all, from a perspective of mental health, they should not be allowed within 1,000 feet of a bullet, let alone a gun.
Wow. Wow. Yes, sir.
Let them be around a blank, brother.
Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
No, I thought about something, and I thought there, laws are for law keepers, or not for those that keep the law. It's for the ones that break them. If we didn't have people that are criminals or have a criminal mindset, the law would set in place and we all be fine. But there is a whole entity of people. Okay, I hope I can say that word or use that word there. That ain't studying the law.
Yeah.
They don't care nothing about your bill and your laws and because they're crime lords, and matter of fact, they are they have that mindset, but their parents are the ones that are in charge. The lawyers and the mayors and the governors. Their kids, I'm talking about those kids that are lawbreakers that have the yachts and the boats and the trains and have access to them, and then they allow little Johnny that they know little Johnny got a problem. But that's my child, that's my son. So just in case he does something, and he's been doing stuff for years, we'll just pay somebody to get him out.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Those type of people. So when he grows up, and because he has a large bank account, I'm talking about his yacht, man. I'm talking, boy, his whatever you want to call it. He got a host of avenues that he can get stuff, make it happen. You know, they talk about putting guns in the alleyways. That kid, I'm talking about that kid.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm talking about not only little pistols that shoot like the guy said, put that little gun away. Not that gun.
About the real guns.
The real one.
Gotcha. Good deal. Anybody have anything to want to say in this topic before we move on to something else? Anybody got?
Right here.
Yeah, I got. Oh, go. I had to say something.
And
let me get this. Let me get this in, Curtis, before my battery dies.
No, go ahead.
Let me get this in. I was thinking that bill does sound good, and then it was reading it. I'm like, okay, it sounds like they're addressing what I was talking about. Look like they want to play their accountability card, responsibility, and that's good. It's almost like dropping a bomb on Hiroshima and then flying back over it again with a Band-Aid. But they still making the effort. But see, this is the thing about it. I've had plenty of guns, Mac 10s, AK-47. I've got rid of them and got some more. I love them. And I ain't never bought a gun legally. If the police or the government tell me you can't drive because you ain't got a license, I tell them stop my feet and my hands from getting in the car and doing it then. Catch me. Do your job. See, people still going to do what they want to do. But if they really want to address the issue at hand, if they really want to nip it in the bud, then you hold everybody accountable that creates these conditions of gun violence. See, this is the issue right here. You got the gun industry that are accountable. But then at the same time with this mental health part of it, I'm glad they're addressing that. The mental health part of it leaves people that are unfit to really think logically or rationally to receive certain information. So now you have other corporates besides the gun industry. Like they should have a congressional hearing on this. They should hold everybody accountable that encourages gun violence. Even those that create these movies and these video games that makes that dopamine in your brain get excited. You know, have you ever seen people that like gore movies? They're so dark. You like, man, what's wrong with them? Something can't be wrong. Something can't be right with them. They like movies that see people get killed in extreme manners and blood splattering everywhere. But see, they let you know that that is an option. You're mad, you're weak, you got a bunch of bad people coming for you, and you were one person gang and you can't handle it with your hands. Try John Wick. Look how exciting he is. Look at the good guy. He never dies. And look how he just blows brains out all across the room. Oh, you really want to see another way, another option to taking out your anger and your frustration? Try this Grand Theft Auto. This might give you a few ideas. If the game ain't enough, you can go do it in real life. Or you really want to let out some frustration? Try this Call of Duty. Or better yet, just listen to NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk talk about killing each other and smoking on their op. See, there's so much accountability that needs to be spread around for the people that influence this behavior that it's still really just a slap on the wrist. The gun industry is a part of it. But there are other people that are promoting the gun violence along with the gun industry promoting the guns.
Absolutely.
So they need to have a congressional hearing and also write a bill that's addressing the impact on the mental health of people that are creating mass shootings from the film industry, the music industry, and the gaming industry, because a lot of this mass shooting and this crazy killing that's going on in this violence is coming from the influence of entertainment.
That's good. That's good. And that's what it is. That's a huge source of it. Curtis, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Donald just said something that sparked the thought in me. Donald, can you repeat what you just said? Or can somebody help me out, please?
Toussaint?
No, I was just thinking that the governments, see, there are rich people that have terrible kids that have access to all of this stuff that you're talking about, but they are the criminals, but they got money to get it done. So I don't have no boat or yacht, no big enough ship to be in the legal drug and ammo or weapons industry, but they do. And because they are the sons of people in power, there you go. That's what we have.
Curtis?
Okay.
I said it would get further away, but you hear what I'm saying.
No, you gave it to me. Because both you and Rico, y'all spoke on the guns in the alley thing, right? And I'm y'all know I'm a movie dude and I watch documentaries and stuff, right? But you know, Outkast tried to tell us about this 30 years ago. There's a film that I would employ all of us to rewatch that got no nominations, no nothing. It was a documentary. And it got no nominations, no nothing. It was called Bombs Over Baghdad.
Yes.
And they talked in the film, they talked about the destruction of Watts. And those very same guns y'all talking about in the alley, there used to be a train that ran through the middle of Watts. No need for it to stop, but it would stop in the middle of Watts. And it would have all these guns. Raheem, have you seen that documentary, Bombs Over Baghdad?
No, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's one. Two, I don't know how many people remember this movie. I can't remember the name. But sometimes you watch an action film, you get caught up in the action and you don't see the story behind the action. There was a film done with Matt Damon where he was this, it was done like way back, like the late 13th, maybe 14th century or something like that. But the film tells you about why the Chinese, it's like folklore. It tells you there's a possibility that this is why the Chinese built the Great Wall of China. And it's these creatures that come. And Matt Damon is this very professional bow and arrow. I forget which archer.
Archer, yeah.
And he's trying to convince the Chinese to sell him some gunpowder so that he can take it back to the king. And the Chinese specifically do not want to sell the gunpowder because they, in their minds, they know what that man across the water is going to do with that gunpowder. So there's been bodies of work that have been hinting to us and telling us for a while now, okay, look, America, be careful. You know, when you think about Call of Duty, if I'm not mistaken, Call of Duty actually started as a simulator for high advanced infantrymen.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Yeah, it did.
And then the military, you see what I'm saying? So Rico is right. There truly needs to be a real and honest, true evaluation, because something is telling me, Raheem, that what they're doing is, like one of the brothers was saying earlier, I believe it was Rico, what they're doing is they're bringing in these social science doctors and professionals who are statisticians. And statistically, they are skewing the numbers because these conglomerates, they know that if they put certain numbers out, and it is connected that these mass shootings are a byproduct of anybody, 18, 16, 24, 55, whatever, playing these video games. They know that their stock prices is going to plummet.
Exactly. Wow.
So I think everybody is encompassing every aspect of why these things are happening. And my God, I gotta give y'all props, big up, salute, because this is the first time it makes me feel good inside. Because we just came up with solutions to a problem that we have to live with and endure every day.
Absolutely. Well, we're about to transition over to another topic. If don't nobody else have anything to want to say about this one right here, I think we've covered this one very well this morning. Anybody have anything? Cassandra, you got anything? Toy, with a T, you want to say something?
Have y'all seen Domino's mind ordering app? And I'm gonna leave it.
Wow, I'm about to see that.
Domino's got a mind ordering app where you can go on there supposedly with your mind, through facial expression, a couple other features. You can order it with your mind, and then they got something called next mind technology. I didn't dig into it, but it's supposed to allow you to move objects with your mind.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about some of these things that these people are doing. You don't think that can work both ways, and we can do something with our mind that can be sending sonar signals out to have people do some things to influence some of these activities? Because
that's true.
Some of these I know it is.
Hold on, Curtis.
I know it is. We're gonna get booted off.
Hold on, Curtis.
We're gonna get booted off if we keep talking about it.
Right.
I just need to throw that out there.
Yeah, 60 Minutes did a special on that.
Yeah, exactly. Let me pull some more people into the conversation, because I got to be fair to everybody with the time. Cassandra, anything on your heart?
No, thank you.
Okay, let me go and I'm gonna ask this question right here. What is it? And I'm gonna start with something that's very simple. And I know y'all gonna get a lot more complicated as we go on. But what are some of the things that needs to be taken out of our community that's really destroying our community, if you will? I'm gonna say this right here, and y'all might not agree with me, but I don't know what it is, why people love it. I do too. But soda, or in some parts of the world, they call it pop. Now, Joyful J, what is it about this soda, man, that everybody has no nutritional value at all? It's just syrup and water. What is it?
I think it's just that. It's the sugar. I think we crave, we like sweet stuff that's going to make us feel good. If we drink something that tastes good, it makes us feel good, things like that. So that's what it is with the soda. I'm a stickler for that myself. I'm actually now that it's summertime, I try to get away from the soda and drink more like iced teas and lemonades and things of that nature. But for me, Coca-Cola has been my one vice for years.
Wow. Cassandra, coming right back to you, Cassandra. What is it about? And if you got some else on ailment or whatever in the community that we need to take out of our community that's really real disruptive to our community, tell me what it is. But what do you think about this soda thing?
I take the fifth, please. I plead.
Oh, you like soda? You like soda?
I would like not to incriminate myself because I have a thing about it. Every now and then I just like I gotta drink a soda. I mean, I try not to buy them like and just put them in the house, but every now and then it's like I find myself going and I'll get a 6-pack of Coke or whatever and knock it off in one day or whatever.
Wow.
It's too much. And it's the sugar craving. But the thing that I feel like we need out of our community, if I could choose one, it would be the liquor stores.
Wow.
Or are these the little corner stores right here on the street where I live near West End, between West End Mall and Tyler Perry Studio. There are 5 of those little convenience stores, 5, like within a 2-block area, almost 3-block area. And they do the alcohol and they do the drugs. I just found out that one of the stores actually sells drugs out of their store.
Wow. I'm
like, what? One of my neighbors told me they're in, well, they're, yeah. Anyway, but yeah. You can actually go in there and purchase your drugs right there. I hate these little stores. I really do. I really do. I think they cause a lot of damage in our neighborhoods, the Black neighborhood.
Absolutely. Toya, what did he talk to me? What are some of the things that's in our community, man, that's really real disruptive to our community and needs to go?
Us.
Wow.
Community ain't doing nothing. It's there. We're not taking care of our community. We're not taking care of our brothers and sisters. You know, when I was young, I would not date a drug dealer because I did not respect one. Even though I'm, smoking kids and drugs. Yeah, I'm just saying. But I wasn't going to date one. Because I just felt like, oh, you want the sorry way out, honey. I'm a woman and I work. And you want to stand around all day and sell drugs to your people? That's not going to work for me. But I'm only been around since 77. And when I self-reflect, I was an issue for my community. I didn't take advantage of Martin Luther King dying for me. I was one of these knuckleheads out here doing foolishness, getting angry too, out there with guns carrying on. People on this platform probably can't identify with that, but I can. I done been there and done that world, honey, been the best at it and made it out alive and got cocky behind it at that. Can't be touched. That's what's wrong with me now. You understand what I'm saying? So I can identify with a lot of these things that some of these kids go through. They know that the devil is in there helping them to rationalize their anger and their rage when it comes to hurting someone. So at the end of the day, discarding the outside influences, we are our own problem in our own community. We know that we don't make the drugs, but we still sell it. We're willing to put somebody else on Front Street of our own instead of get up and do the right thing. We're more willing to sell our bodies, do unmoral things, than to stand up and go through the struggle, even though we know our ancestors went through the struggle and made it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk about, police brutality right now, if we was out just taking out the negative stuff. If you out here working, doing what you're supposed to do, then the chances are slimmer. When you out here being good in good faith, people got good things to say about you. People rally up and come behind people like that. But oftentimes we suffer from this little boy cry wolf syndrome. And nobody want to be bothered with nobody anymore because of mistakes. So yeah, you go up the river and ain't nobody fighting for you. So if I focus on just the inside influences, not the outside influences, we are our own damage to our own communities because we don't take care of it and we don't take care of each other.
That's good. That's good. Hicks, are you still with us? Hicks, are you there? Hicks, we can.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. What is something in our community that need to be removed from our community, man, because it's so disruptive to the community as a whole? What would you say it is?
I'll say liquor stores. From what I understand, most murders, not these drive-by things, but most murders occur when someone is drinking. One or both of them are drinking. I think the liquor stores in our neighborhoods need to be put in the mall somewhere, so you have to travel to get it.
Wow. Leonard, what do you say?
Well, me, nothing, because I don't have that mind frame. I mean, taking the liquor stores out of my area and things like that's just no access to liquor. And if some people, I mean, sometimes y'all be borderline real, speaking of certain issues that are just borderline racist almost.
I want to explain that to me.
What communities are you talking about? What communities are you talking about?
I said we didn't specify. We said community. We said our community, but our community could be anybody. It could be
Well,
black,
define
white,
your
orange,
community.
black, white, orange, polka dot.
If you define your community simply by being black, then you would be trying to prohibit the access of alcohol by blacks.
How's that racist?
Because you're using black as the criteria.
Okay, so my thing, I don't understand how that makes it racist though, Leonard. I'm trying to.
So if someone just decided to write a law that's saying that you can't have liquor stores in black communities, you don't think that's racist?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think, because and that would be it. I think that would be depending on who's actually writing that bill. Because if I'm a black man and I'm saying I don't want this in my community, because I know the disruption that it has caused in my community and continue to cause, how it continues to destroy my community. Like if I say I don't want a drug dealer on the street corners in my community, as a black man, I say I don't want a drug dealer on the corners, man, selling drugs.
That's a law enforcement issue.
Well, see, we how they say the thing, we're cutting hairs now. But my thing is, I'm still stuck on the thing how and Toya respond. I heard Toya say, "What?" Toya, what was that response for? I don't think so. I don't think it is. But what do you say, Toya?
I mean, well, I thought that it becomes racist anytime you talk about a specific group of people that can't have something. Like prohibition was an issue for black people, I thought, like because we couldn't have certain things. And the reason why we integrated it was because we wanted to be able to do and enjoy all, keyword, all, not some, all of the rights that supposed white folks have. So to take out liquor stores out of black people neighborhood, as if white folks neighborhoods don't have liquor stores, and white folks in white folks neighborhood that drink liquor don't commit crimes, because they do have white folks neighborhood. They just rally differently. And white people neighborhoods, they go to their meetings. You're not going to put no Walmart here, you're not going to put no liquor store here, versus where in some urban communities they don't. But when you start saying we can't have something because we black or Mexican or Latino, I think that, it might be a personal opinion that you don't think is racist, but I'm quite sure the KKK white folks who didn't want to mix, they felt the same way, and we looked at it as racist.
And see, and that's why I said it depends on, and that could be a very double standard on my part to even say this. But my thing is, that's why I was saying it depends on who write the bill. Like if I'm a black man, I say, well, I don't want it because I see the disruption that it has caused in my household and in my community. I don't want it in my community. I don't think I'm coming from a racist standpoint when I say something like that, because I see the disruptions that it has caused. And so that's why I say I don't think it's racist. But then again, it could be a very double standard, because if somebody outside of my community say that, then I would, yeah, man, hold on now. I would say that that's racist. And so, it depends. Again, it depends on where it's coming from.
I want to throw something in there.
Go ahead.
Can I speak?
Who is that? Who is that want to speak? I'll come to you out the Badger. Who is that?
Hicks.
Okay, Hicks, I'll come to you right out the Badger. Go ahead, Badger.
Okay.
So, the county I live in Texas, right, was a dry county when we moved here. We've been here for about 11 years now. It became a dry county about 5 years ago when we got this house. In 5 years, crime has tripled. The moment they started selling alcohol. Car insurance went up. Crime went up. Shootings went up across the board. Kids being killed by drunk drivers went up, and all that. By it going from a dry county to a county that sells alcohol. Because used to you'd have to drive to a whole nother place, a whole nother county to buy anything. And now it's here. So I was kind of thrown off at first, bringing it up for certain communities, but even like Native people, they work hard to try to get alcohol banned in their own communities because they see how harmful it is. Because a lot of people can't control themselves and only drink just one. So it's because of being able to see what it was like to have a place that primarily had no alcohol in it, to seeing how it is now, it's insane how just by adding alcohol to your community makes things go crazier. Not just drugs, but alcohol specifically.
That's true. That's true. Hicks, go ahead, brother.
Well, he said everything I need to say. I agree with that. We don't. I haven't, in my experience, I haven't seen liquor stores littering suburban communities. They go to the mall or they go to a outlet store. I don't know. It's just, I think, I just watch how
Rico, I see you.
In my age, I watch how racist being called racist or a racist point of view is like an end-all conversation. It's so diluted now. Being my age, I've seen racism. I've seen it in an extreme sense, and it's not that. I don't know. Well, you gotta get the alcohol out of communities. Period. Bottom line. And I don't know how that happens. Like I just said, you change it from a dry county to a wet county where you can sell it, and everything goes up. But I don't think it's racist to try to position something like that. It's not racist. I think that throw it out. Let racist be what racist is, not all these microaggression things they talk about.
Rico, what's on your heart, brother? First, is it racist?
Well, I heard what was said. I caught that part of it. And legally, by law, that is racist. So what Hicks did, Hicks took the words out of my mouth, man. A lot of times I listen and I'm like, man, I'm waiting on somebody to say, the real deal. It's also racist. They only have package stores littering your community where people that don't have cars go walk to as many of them as they want to. But then when you go to these uppity white neighborhoods, they in the business sector where they supposed to be. You see more state-run liquor stores where the average middle income and up can go to the liquor store or grocery store and get their alcohol. But where the winos and the most poverty is, oh man, you go and get one every other block. And you'll see them sitting out there waiting on somebody else to come through. Got some change, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, we see it. We see it. That's also racist. So, some people might have got mad when Leonard said that. When really and truly, he's telling the truth. But it's also racist to sit back and have them just littering our neighborhood like that, and you ain't got them on the other side of town like that. Because I guarantee you, some of the white winos on this side of town will go over there to that side of town and be winos if they could. If the liquor stores was there, if the police would allow them to sit around and pedal around the way that they do. So it's what was said, it is right. It can be considered racist, and to be honest with you, that's how white supremacists use that as a target, a tactic sometimes. See, that's another one of those tactics that really and truly, if you are very well spoken and know how to use your words and know how to debate, you can tell the truth to get your point across. But then somebody else has to come back and say, yeah, that's right. And it is also racist to have all these package stores and these mom and pop liquor stores with the exaggerated prices, way more than what the state-run stores would charge or the grocery store would charge, in your neighborhood, not only poisoning your community with the cheapest liquor, but raping their pockets because they souping it up to more than about $3 or $4 a bottle extra, depending on how big the bottle is. And then at the same time, it's so convenient. You don't even have to have a car. Just ride your bicycle or use Tom and Jerry and come over here and spend your last little dollar to get them little bitty bottles. We even got them for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it is racism, but it's racism on both sides.
That's good. That's good. Let's go to Cassandra. Better yet, let me go to Curtis. I hadn't touched Curtis in a minute. I'll come right back to you, Cassandra. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? What do you say?
Now, I'm going to yield the floor to Cassandra because I had talked right after Donald, and I took up a little time. Cassandra ain't been able to speak. I'm going to yield the floor to Cassandra.
Cassandra?
Yeah, no, I'm, you know, our people become targets to so many different people for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that that we're targeted with the drugs. We've always been targeted with the drugs, from crack to whatever drug you want to name. They always try to hit our communities, you know, infiltrate our communities to our downfall, and we fall for it every time. For me, the alcohol, like I said, 5 stores in a 2-3 block area is ridiculous. All of them selling liquor, some of them selling drugs, all to the detriment of our community. And I mean, literally 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, I'm driving home, you see people gathered in front of the low mom and pop store. They're usually Indians that run them. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be, but that's usually the way it is. And when I say Indian and Arab that run those stores in our community, it's just, it disturbs me. Why are you here? What draws you to our community? You know why? Because they know that we want that feeling, that fix that the alcohol gives or that the drugs give, and they give us exactly what we want. And when I say we, you know, I ain't talking about those of us on here, because I think most of us have come to the conclusion that that's not, you know, killing the pain is not the way to go. It's dealing with the pain. So I don't know. You know, I don't know.
It's a lot. It's a lot, man. It really is. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim is back with us. Ibrahim, what are some of the, what are some of the things that's in our community that really needs to be taken out of our community because it's so disruptive to the community as a whole?
Hey, I'm just watching today.
Again, Ibrahim said, "I'm just watching the day," and then he disappeared. Lord Jesus, Lord. Jay, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with everyone. I mean, I'm just watching, but I would agree also. Alcohol is the #1 thing that needs to leave the country. Like in urban areas, you see it on, like she just said, every other block, just around the corner from me, where I live here in West Philadelphia. Around the corner, a block away, there's a deli, and right across the street from the deli is a smoke shop, and there's always people out there all times of night. And West Philly is one of the highest homicide rates in Philadelphia right now. Up the street from that one block is another deli that's open till 2 in the morning. Every block here in West Philadelphia, or in all the urban areas, have a liquor store or a smoke shop, and inside those stores, or even the poppy stores, are doing some things that are unseemly, if you will, or that shouldn't be done in a normal business sense, if you will. So it's all the urban areas, and like Rico just said, that could be considered racist, if you will, or in that sense. But that's where it's happening at. So we have to address what's going on to our people in our people's neighborhoods, because it's not happening in other people's neighborhoods and to the other people's people, if you will.
Good deal. Badger, talk to me, brother.
You know, talking about taking away alcohol, right? We can't do that unless we greatly increase access to mental health care. Because a lot of people that are out there drinking and doing some of the things that they're doing are because they're either addicted to it, which is an addiction, or they have a mental health issue that they're trying to drown away. Or it's depression, it's being unhappy in their current situation. It's so many factors into why I don't know many people in my lifetime that I've met that literally just goes, just want a glass, drinks a glass, like a small glass or a shot, puts it down, and a bottle of whiskey can last them 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So there, I mean, a majority of people, including me when I used to drink, was drinking because I didn't know how to deal with my problems.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put alcohol down, after I realized I was, addicted to it and I was using it to avoid working on myself, I put it down and haven't touched it since.
Mm-hmm.
So, but not everyone has that kind of willpower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know some people that they have been drinking for so long, if you take it away from them, it can kill them.
Mm-hmm.
They can put them into a coma.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, all of our communities need better access to mental health. We need to be more active when it comes to mental health. So we can take alcohol away all day long, but that's not going to solve the issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Leonard. What's on your heart, brother?
Man, you know what? I'm just listening. I don't I can't support any of the opinions that I just heard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not into that.
Okay. What do you think it is, Leonard? And it could be something totally different from drug and alcohol. And well, what is one of the things that's in our community that you really feel is a detriment to our community?
Well, everything is sin is a detriment to your community.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't sit here and try to regulate sin, can I?
Mm-hmm.
People that don't drink, don't drink. I don't care how many liquor stores you put up. This notion that somehow that I need a daddy, somebody to make decisions for me, I don't care for at all.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and see what happened during Prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all act like folks don't want to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Folks want to drink. That's why they build liquor stores. Y'all can go down in every liquor license applied for in your communities and say, you know what, we don't want this store here, and your county commissioners won't allow that license and sell liquor in that store.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna close all the restaurants and everything else in your area too, because
mm-hmm.
if y'all don't want no liquor, y'all got to get rid of the liquor in the club and everywhere else too.
See, Leonard, and my only issue with that is if it's like I worked in the prison system for 10 years. They don't have liquor stores in the prison system.
Oh, I wonder why not.
But hold on. They don't have liquor stores there in the prison system, but they do have alcohol. They make their own.
Exactly. That's why they drink it. They make their own hooch and everything.
Yeah, they make their own. But see, my thing is right here. So you can't say about the regulation and not being able.
Yes, I can, because
you
the
can
law.
say that, but my thing is right here. It's not gonna stop. That's not gonna. To your point,
why
that's
ain't
not
y'all
gonna stop people.
protesting in front of these liquor stores? Why?
You gotta ask them.
I'm asking y'all because obviously I don't live in your community.
Mm-hmm. But see, Leonard, what you're doing, what I hear you doing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing you say is, and when you say they don't need a daddy or nothing like that, that's not the issue.
Yes, it is the issue.
What we're talking about is this right here. We're talking about the fact that what's destroying the community, and liquor is one of the ailments that's actually destroying the community now.
That's your opinion.
Nah, it's not my opinion. It's fact, man. Look at it. That's not opinion.
Okay.
Hold on. Hold on. So you're gonna say to me, in all honesty, that alcohol has not been a disruption to the community.
No, alcohol is a disruption to people who have alcohol problems.
You're splitting hairs, brother. You're splitting hairs. You're splitting hairs right there. You're splitting hairs.
Like you just said, somebody on this thing just said, why y'all standing out in front of them stores? Do you know what happened if somebody go in front of them stores and remove all them black people and say them black people can't stand at that store? Y'all will have a fit. y'all will be out there protesting and everything, saying somebody targeting y'all, racially profiling you all.
Well, if there's nothing wrong with alcohol, why was it? If there's nothing wrong with alcohol, why wasn't it prohibited before?
We did have a period of prohibition.
It was a purpose behind it.
The majority of the people said, you know what, we'd rather have liquor.
But see, my thing is, all that's fine, and all that may be true.
Exactly, that's why they're trying to get it.
Hold on. All that may be true, but my thing is, what I'm concentrating on, is the disruptive and drugs and alcohol. Both of them. There's certain things, and there's other things that's in our community that's disruptive to the community. But right now, we're talking about drugs and alcohol. So my focal point is on that. There's other elements in our community that need to be removed from the community that's not helping our community at all. But right now, for the sake of this conversation, we're talking about drugs and alcohol, and specifically alcohol. And alcohol has been very disruptive. Alcohol has destroyed so much in our community for so many years. Now,
my father was an alcoholic, but I don't believe that everybody else has the same problem.
But that don't mean that they don't. That don't mean that they don't.
Exactly.
Because alcohol has caused a disruption in so many different ways, and so for so many on so many different levels. You cannot tell me and want me to believe that alcohol has not had a history, of being disruptive in our community.
What about soda?
I start off talking about soda. That's why
you're gonna ban that too.
I start off talking about soda.
You're gonna ban soda too.
My thing is this: what about drugs?
Well, I mean, we have a whole law enforcement agency against drugs.
What about fast food restaurants? You know, there's a whole list of things that we could throw in this conversation. But what my thing is right now, I'm concentrating on the drugs and alcohol. This is what I'm concentrating on. And like Rico just said, what about sugar? We could throw sugar in the community.
Exactly.
In the
this is why I'm trying to point out that
Mhm.
sometimes people's emotions, they believe that what they don't like would be a great law to make sure everybody else don't have.
See, Leonard, we what I'm saying is the disruptive part of what alcohol has done in a community. Would you say
in what community?
Pick anyone.
No, you the one want the law, not me.
Let's do this. Pick any community that has an alcohol problem.
I don't know any communities that have alcohol problems.
We'll use that one.
I don't know of any communities that have alcohol problems.
I know plenty.
I know people who have alcohol problems. I don't know not one community that has one.
Where do the people live?
You know, some people would say that about Native Americans.
Where do the people live, Leonard?
They live all over. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand what you don't. For some reason, you don't want to admit that you have took a certain group of people, and said that they have a problem.
No, I said community. I said
community of who?
And again, I go right back to what I said. I got to go back. I got to bring some more people into the conversation, but we could go right back to what I just said. Any community. If you pick the community. I'm going
to pick a community because I don't support a law that does what you all wanted to do.
Okay, but my thing is pick any community. Anybody that come on.
I wouldn't.
And if there's an alcohol problem in that community, that's the community I'm talking about.
How about communities under the age of 21?
That's another community.
Great, because we have a law for that.
Okay. Now, what about the ones that's over 21? They don't matter.
Oh no, you all don't. You know, y'all can go write a bill if you would like. No one will support that.
I don't know. There was a time where they did, Leonard.
But it's not now.
Hold on, Leonard. Jay, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm laughing because he makes a great point. Anyone over 21, then no one's going to pass that law. Again, you can say it's not a community thing, but we're speaking about the African American community. Let's keep it 100. We're talking about the Black community. The Black community are the ones that have the drug and alcohol problems. That's the communities that have the delis on every block or every other block. Those are the communities that we're talking about. So we wanted out those communities because we care about our communities, not because we're racist and because we want to shut everybody down from drinking who likes to drink, who drinks recreationally, just chilling, if you will. We're talking about the people who use it and access who those spirits that are in them because they've been consuming too much cause them to do things that hurting our community, hurting our Black men, hurting our Black women, things of that nature. So that's why I think we want the delis in the urban areas to cease, if you will. The liquor stores on every other block. That's what I think we're talking about here.
Exactly. Let's go to the phone. I got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, you there? Biggie.
Oh man, my bad, man. I thought y'all. I was listening to the argument.
Dude, well, he was listening to the
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's a Friday morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Go.
What do you say about this, man? Is alcohol an issue in the community?
Yes, and it's an issue, but I think that something that we also have to keep in mind that something that we are targeting us as a whole because we live in that community, so we do see the effects of the alcohol. So let's point that out. But removing the bodegas and 2 in the a.m. joints and all that, that's not going to happen. So I understand the concerns, but I think what we have to do now is that as a community, as they come with the negativity, we need to come with some positive. Let's be proactive. Let's do something to say, hey, let's try to educate these people because again, I'm thinking that, and something that Badger said that I think it misses a lot of people, but that a lot of people out here who use alcohol for self-medication.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cheaper because it's cheaper. It's just like it was when God forget me, when I was out there on the streets selling drugs. I hear people talk about drug dealers, but I used to be one of them. So it's funny to me when I hear people talk about us in a derogatory way. I wasn't a bad person. I did something that was at the time I thought that was right. I said, give me one time. At least I was 14 at the time. So at the time, it was something that instilled in me. Said my mom was struggling. She got 4 boys. In my mind, I thought I was helping her, but I was really pulled away from the community as well. But I had to come back and step back to myself now as a 51-year-old man. I look at myself now and say, let's be proactive. Everybody argument is legit, and it is. And you, however y'all want to cut it, it's a racial statement. They say let's take liquor stores out of the black community. It's a racial statement. Because we live out here, and you and I both know we live out here in Gwinnett County, and we see these kids cut a donkey out here.
Yes, sir.
We see them cut up, and they ain't always black kids. So let's be fair. So my whole thing is that, at the same token, let's be fair and slice this pie accordingly. Again, let's be proactive. Let's say, hey, you know what? I see this brother over here with a problem. Let's see, can we help him? That's how you combat some of these things. By not saying, let's remove this, let's remove you from it. I always tell people, if you don't like me, I don't worry about what I have done to you, what I have not done to you. I will oblige you. I remove myself. So I give you what you want. The same thing it is with us. We got to start going and say, hey, let's help our community. Stop complaining about it. We live here. I'm not going to say you stuck here, but we live here. Period. So let's be proactive and let's say, hey, let's do the right thing by these people. If you know you can help somebody, help them. You have the resources to point them in the right direction. I was listening to Cassandra earlier when she was saying about those kids. That's her point. Her energy in the right direction. Let's put it in the right direction. I complain about it and do something about it.
Good deal.
That's all we got to do.
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Toya. Toya, what's on your heart, sis?
Long as evil exists, there will always be things that can be taken out. And I think that, again, we can't really begin to straighten out any of these things unless we start to get more God in our lives, man, for real. I mean, beyond the drinking, beyond it being, factors of red, white, blue, green, pink, beyond it being factors of campaign. We talked about Coke earlier. Coke is just as alcohol is. And there was a whole campaign. They commercialized for commercials, everything, all these influences. And we still come up looking for somebody to point the finger at.
But it goes back to what I said earlier. The problem is us. The problem is us. The shoe fit, wear it. If we're not diligent at what we do on a daily basis, if we're not educating our friends, our family, if we're not expressing willpower when it comes to some of these things that we know is dangerous, we know that a lot of these things is bad for us, but we do it anyway. We do it in front of our kids. You know how many people go out and drink in front of their kids now? Then say don't drink and drive, and then you wonder why your kid got a mental problem. Oh, okay. So we really have to stop and look at the fact. Stop looking for a figure to point and look at the mirror. And if we all just look in the mirror, I said we all. If you get offended, I don't know what to tell you. We all, everybody, need to look in the mirror and reflect. When we fix ourselves, we'll fix everything else on the outside. And I mean we all. It can't be just one community looking in the mirror and reflecting. All communities are going to have to reflect. And once we fix ourselves, we'll all be better.
That's good. That's good. Cassandra?
Yeah, I can agree with Toy on that. We do have to do self inspection or self examination. Once we do that, though, even while we're doing that, we still have to be involved in our communities, trying to figure out what can I do to better my community. Because if you have that type of a mindset, then you're pushing toward answers and solutions that could help the entire community. So like for me, where I live, 55 and over community, cars getting broken into. I mean, these people are fixed incomes. Their windows being shadowed. Y'all know how much it costs just for the deductible to get your black.
Yeah.
So and that comes from the alcoholics and the drug addicts that live in the neighborhood. So, it's important, the gangs. But we have to look outside just I do care what my fellow community people are doing. I have to care. I have to care because it affects me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I had something lined up to say, man. I don't forgot. As soon as you said my name, I like, man, this is the thing about it, man. We are all creatures of our environment. We are created from whatever our environment put into us. You get what I'm saying? And with that being said, we have to always remember that poverty probably causes more damage to mental health than anything. Poverty causes a lot of damage to mental health. So now if you need medicating or therapy, but you don't have access, you're gonna get that therapy or that medication from the closest thing you can get your hands on. And some of those things have St. Ives wrote on it with somebody very beautiful named Lisa Ray before she became famous. It might have somebody like Tupac saying St. Ives. Might have Billy D, King Cobra. Malt liquor that they don't sell in white neighborhoods and white stores. Bad liquor. Liquor that was at one point in time banned for a certain reason. We prohibiting alcohol. Y'all don't need it. It's bad for you. It's the devil's juice. One time weed was legal. Oh, no, we need to leave. That's illegal. And that cocaine that's in that Coca-Cola, we're going to ban that too because it's bad for you. But some people like alcohol. And when you start talking about things that people like, the human side of them and come out and they'll show you then, you know what? I don't like to sacrifice. I don't want to sacrifice the things that I like. Even though I know the type of effect that it has on people that come from a certain place that can't control it, and that is their only way of medicating. Badger could probably speak on behalf of the Native Americans on reservations. I've seen so many documentaries and stories about how bad alcoholism is. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen people die from alcoholism. A lot of people that look like me in my neighborhood, and I can count on more than one hand and 1 foot, 2 hands and 2 feet, yours and mine. People that have had so many health complications from the abuse of alcohol. And they were coping. They were medicating. They call it a coping mechanism. And some people that hire these psychoanalysts, going back to what we were saying the first time, some people that hire psychoanalysts that knows human behavior and knows the conditions of people and the conditions they live in and how they're going to turn out and the cause and effect, learn behavior, exposure, access. They market this thing and they already know who to target. See, they're taking advantage of us. But for the reason that we believe in capitalism, sometimes we'll say, well, you know what? It's your choice. But see, sometimes if you don't know that you are suffering or killing yourself, you're going to continue to medicate because you're just trying to feel better. Y'all remember Boys in the Hood? Everybody like to bring up movies. You remember when Furious Styles stood in the middle of that neighborhood and gave everybody that knowledge while he was talking to his son, and the rest of them knuckleheads came over there and he broke that work down to them. And they realized, boom, a life went off in their head. They had never thought or even imagined what he was talking about. It was right in their faces, but they still didn't see it in action. So he had to break it down to them. So sometimes we ain't complaining. Sometimes we doing a Furious Styles. Sometimes we breaking it down to them, letting them know the reason why it should be banned or the reason why it has you under its control. These vices, these substances that people tend to target you with in your community to rape your pockets and keep you still coming back and forth more and more because you are going through something that is created from the poverty that you exist in or your environment that you don't even know we made that. We created those conditions. And we're gonna keep
I've seen situations, man. I've seen situations, and to Rico's point, I've seen situations, man, where I've seen people actually drink themselves to death. I've seen people drink themselves to death. And so I've seen it firsthand. And I know what it does. I know what it does to the individual, to the family, to the community. And
right. Raheem, hold up. One second. I just thought about something. Have you seen the videos that people laugh at and they go viral because the people are trying to grab the case of beer out the cooler, but they so drunk they can't even make it and they flopping all over the place? And everybody like, hey, is he gonna fall? Is he gonna make it? And he'll make it to the register and he'll lean and rock his way on out the door and everybody's laughing. I can't believe he made it out the door. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe they sold that man that bill.
Exactly.
He couldn't even make it to the register. Or what about the bartenders? They go ahead and continue to sell it and make that money because the bar need to make that money and sell this liquor to the person that they know ain't gonna make it home or they barely might make it home.
Exactly. We got a young lady that just joined us, Miss Taretha Green. Good morning. Good morning. I'm gonna say good evening. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Sister, if I'm not mistaken, you got something real special that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I think it is.
Yes, it's July the 2nd, Saturday, for the July weekend Summer Jam.
Okay, tell us about it.
Year, bringing good gospel and old school to the 4th of July weekend. With all that's been going on for these last couple of years, GHD Production, helping with Grace Foundation is I'm the promoter of this event, and that's going to be held at St. Philip AME parking lot in the rear end of it on 400 Richard Allen Drive, right there, Candler and Memorial Drive. And it's going to consist of our headliner is Keith Wonderboy Johnson coming down from New York. He's going to be coming down. Your Let Go and Let God Man.
Come on.
We Need a Revival. And this is my second time. I brought him down 4 years ago for my husband's 60th birthday, and I tell you, he blowed up the city.
Absolutely.
So I'm bringing him back for this one, and also we're going to have this young lady, Miss Princess, coming down from Jacksonville, Florida. She's a gospel rapper.
Okay.
And we're going to have New Life gospel singers coming up from Columbus, Georgia. And what would a 4th of July weekend be without some old school?
Come on now. Don't you say it.
We have some old school, when music was music.
Yeah.
And we can understand some stuff, stuff really made you want to dance and move. And that's something people ain't doing nowadays no more. They're not moving.
I came to an event of yours about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and the way that the way that the event was closed down was I saw a couple got up on the stage and they did some singing. Now that same couple gonna get up on the stage and do some singing. I ain't gonna call nobody name now.
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so. Oh, okay. So they got up on that stage and they did some singing. Now they closed and shut the show down. Okay. Now, how can people get tickets?
Well, they can go on eventbrite.com on Facebook. It's a link there. And just click on the link. The early bird tickets are only $15. It'll be $18 once you do the online purchasing, but it's $15. And then it's only $20 at the gate to enter in at the parking lot, which is a steal deal.
Yeah.
For what you're getting. And we're gonna have Helping with Grace Foundation. It's gonna be barbecue and selling. You gotta have some barbecue on the 4th of July weekend, right?
Okay. Gotta have that Q. Gotta have that Q. They call it Q where I'm from. Get some of that Q. But we just is country, which is a country as can be. Like Minister Neil, he's on the line with us. He's actually at the phone down at Jacksonville, so he know country too. See, he know country.
Yeah.
Minister Neil know country.
Yeah, we're gonna have it's gonna as the young folks say, it's gonna be lit.
There you go.
And we're gonna have a good time. And we gonna have also a live DJ Icon. It's gonna be spinning some old school music as well. And we're gonna have asking everybody to bring their own folding chair, bring your shades and your sun hat. Put on your 4th of July weekend song. You remember back in the day when your mama would get you ready for that 4th of July?
Come on.
Get your sandals and your shorts and your little outfit and everything. And go out and have some good food. And we're just going to have a great time. And
gonna have one of them Holy Ghost good times. Come on. One of them Holy Ghost good times. Boom. Like that.
And as y'all talking about the alcohol beverages, this is a non-alcohol event. No firearms. We're gonna have security all around the parking lot to cover that and to have everything secured. And you'll be able to use the restroom in the church that's across the street from the parking lot.
Okay.
You were there, so you know what parking lot is.
Exactly.
And we're gonna have paparazzi, all vendors. I've had people, if they want to be a vendor on this event, I got plenty more spots available that want to share their business network. We're gonna have health and wellness, Centerwell, in which is a new primary care office that's opening up in Stone Mountain. I'll be doing the grand opening there this Wednesday coming up.
Okay.
So they'll be there from 10 to 2, but I'll be expressing my aerobics class for the seniors that want to come out, and they're gonna be doing giveaways and all of that. But the event, go on Facebook, Eventbrite. You can click on the link, and it'll take you right to the ticket site, and you can purchase right there through PayPal. And your phone or your email is your ticket. You can pull that up.
That's like your receipt right there. So when you come to you have that right there in place. Let me ask you this question, because I'm gonna get back to our topic. I definitely want to give you the time to talk to my audience, and I encourage everybody to come out and have a good time. I'll be there. So come and shake my hand. Give me some dap or something like that.
That's right. DKM gonna be in the house.
Absolutely. Definitely gonna be there. But let me ask you, what are some of the things in our community that's a real detriment to our community that needs to be removed from our community? Teresa, what do you say that is?
Oh boy, y'all already on that topic. These liquor houses. And I know, as I heard someone say that if you take it away, a lot of people gonna die. Because their system is so adapted to it. I mean, I used to be a drinker, a smoker. I snort cocaine. Done all of that stuff. But I grew into it. Yeah. From my upbringing, having it in the home, not having the right examples, promoting and making it look like it's a normal thing. And it goes from generation to generation to generation. And until somebody stops it, because that was one of the things that killed my high, my last high, when I looked at my daughter and I was stoned out of my head. And I looked at her. I only had one child. And I was so high, Raheem, I looked at her and her pamper was hanging to the floor.
Wow.
And that killed my high right then and there. And I said, I got to make a change.
Yeah. Got to do something. You got to do different. Got to do different.
And when I quit when she was 8 months old in Pampers.
Wow.
So she never got to see her mom or her dad do the things that we were doing. And right today, she's a college graduate, a nurse at Emory, and married to a firefighter, living a good, prosperous life. And she's, being a good example to my 2 grands that's in FAMU and Georgia State University.
Now, preacher, hold on now, preacher. We got to move on to somebody else now, preacher. Come on here. You want to talk 5 minutes now, preacher. Hold on now. Now, preacher, you got to hold on now. Hey, look, hey, Curtis, they say don't give a preacher a microphone. Is that what they say?
I'm gonna put the mic down.
Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
No, you know what? Y'all gonna think I'm being petty. But if I could immediately remove something from our neighborhood right now, from our community, it would be reality TV.
Wow.
You?
Reality TV.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Curtis.
I would remove it solely because it's established on the premises that we have been being governed by for a long time. It's established telling you a false narrative as to how you're supposed to be in a relationship, what type of relationship you're supposed to look for. I mean, it's got people thinking that this is real. It ain't none of that real. That's all. It's what you call in acting. You call it improv. You know, it's somebody coming and say, okay, here's the situation, action. So I just think it's sending a false message. The sisters and the mamas sending a false message. The 90-day fiance is sending a false message. Even down to these, the ones I do like is like the building and renovation shows. But even down to them sometimes send a false message. You know,
exactly.
So I think that it's gonna sound crazy when I say it, but at least with the alcohol, you know that to be true. You know, if you go over there and you take a sip of that, you're gonna get drunk. You know that. If you go over there and dip some of that powder, you're gonna get high. If you smoke some of that tweak, you're gonna get tweaked. But with this reality thing, it's almost like
a hidden agenda.
You're telling people it's real life when it's really not.
It's a hidden agenda. Curtis can't hear me. Let me go. Let me go. Curtis can hear me. Curtis, you're actually skipping in and out, brother. Let me go to somebody else because you kind of skipping a little bit on me. I think you're in a bad area. Toya, with a T, talk to me, sis.
Set down, man. The mic was setting on the flat surface.
Oh, okay. Toya, with a T, what's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, no, right. You know we're running out of time. First, let's thank you for the platform because I think that, you know, solutions come by first conversation, right? And I think everyday people having everyday conversations. This is how we get through each other, listening with empathy, and our baby are able to understand each other. So let me thank you for having this platform to be able to talk about it. But I think at the end of the day, if we all just listen to each other's experiences, it's take into consideration different points of views. I think that's a little bit of headway. You know, I think it's hard to really change people's minds when they've been one way for so long. But I do think if you keep an open mind and you try to understand different communities do different things, you know, everybody doesn't think like you. And not all things are what it seems.
Yeah.
You know, I think just these open dialogues to help us move forward and have a better understanding. And I think that shows like this, I know we probably not broadcasted all over BET and stuff like that, but I really believe the spirit of shows like this is what break the real, true yokes of understanding in people. And I appreciate you for having it, and I appreciate everybody on here.
They love
Thank
you as
y'all.
well.
Y'all have a good day.
To God be the glory. Absolutely. And Curtis, Bishop said, and Bishop said this. He's actually listening. He said, he better leave the Kardashians alone. He said, leave the Kardashians. He said, you talking about all the reality shows. He said, don't mess with them Kardashians now. Rico, what do you say to that, brother?
Man, that's the whole truth, man. You said a big name then, man. Leave them alone. Curtis hit it on the head. Man, it's about being consistent. But, you know, really to me, out of anything we talk about, whether it's guns, whether it's about morality, behavior, children, being a good parent, it's really going to boil down to being willing to sacrifice some of the things that makes you feel good. Sacrifice. We got to sacrifice some stuff, man.
Yeah.
And we like it. I love sex. I love me some sex. I have to sacrifice it because it also has some negative consequences throughout my life that I've gone through too much, where I start saying, well, you know what? I need to start respecting it a little bit more. I just need to stop. Because I ain't going to get right. These vices. You know, we all want to feel good. That's the whole side of being human beings, is that we want to feel good. And when we find something that makes us feel good, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes we might drink ourselves to death, or sometimes we might eat ourselves to 800 pounds and heart disease and diabetes. Sometimes we might smoke ourselves, our lungs turn black, cigarettes. But they make us feel good. And you can make money off of it. And you got the right. You got the right to smoke and drink, even though it can be bad for you if you overindulge, even though it might be the devil's medicine. And it feel good to you. You got the right to do it because you make choices. But if we really want society and the world to be better, sometimes we might just have to make some sacrifices and say, well, you know what? Before I continue to enjoy this alcohol in moderation the way I can, I see it's hurting other people. They need to just ban it. I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to drink. I wish they would ban cigarettes. I wish they would ban alcohol, because I know as a human being how much control and influence that outside vice can have on this brain and what it does for me, because it made me feel so good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger?
I was just thinking about everything that's being said and stuff, and one of the things that that's just going through my head is when you try to control things, you're going to have a lot more effect than the alcohol does itself. So to me, there's a lot of mental that goes into alcohol and drugs and different things like that, and people's personal choices and people just needing to work on their problems. So yet if you throw in there and try to take it all away from them, the potential to make it worse is way higher. People don't want to be controlled.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Ms. Neal, you there? Ms. Neal, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I take the phone from you.
Oh, okay. I threw a little jab at you earlier, man. You must have stepped away. You didn't hear it.
I heard you. I wasn't studying you, man. For somebody who cut your cornbread, I know you ain't talking. I know you ain't talking. You talking about cornbread and buttermilk. Well, I'll tell you the truth.
I said that joker must be awake, or he ain't said now word. I said he must be away from the system.
I heard exactly what you said. I heard you about Jacksonville. I heard all that. Look here. I don't respond to ignorance. That's all I'm saying.
There's a country is I say country is cornbread. You say country is cornbread.
Cornbread and buttermilk.
Hot water cornbread. That's that.
I'm talking about pop nickel. I also, But I want to say too to the fellas over here and to all my listeners as well. I didn't get a chance last week, but wish everybody a happy belated happy Father's Day to each and every one of you as well.
Sir. Yes, sir. Likewise.
And just to say, everybody here is dynamic in their own way, and that's one thing I love about. Even when I come on and when I don't come on, because a lot of times I'm working and things of that nature. But just to say, as we come together, I love the way how we take each other's parts and we can kind of collaborate them together. And that's something that we all can continue to do.
Yes, sir.
And again, I love the platform and everything. And Curtis right. We some of the reality shows, and we all know, with that undertone, with all that twisting and stuff in their necks, that ain't the Black community. So we need to look at that and examine that as well. But again, God bless you. And probably another week, another month or two, I'll be coming back on my show. I've heard from God, and we're going to be getting suited and booted again, my dear brother.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Get ready.
Let's do it.
So let's get ready. And again, we have to lay a foundation. The foundation has to be something that we can leave behind.
Absolutely.
And I say that to you because you don't never. I look at my mother. I was texting her pastor, and they feed the homeless once first Saturday of each month. And he asked me on a group text with my brothers, do he mind sending to the WC Coast and Neil feed the homeless feed the homeless program. And I told him not a problem. So I'm saying about being proactive. Might not seem like much, but the little bit that you do will go a long way.
Absolutely.
God bless everyone. Have a good weekend. You don't hear from my voice again. I love you.
Love you too, brother.
I love you. I love you.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain Leonard.
Good day. Y'all have a nice weekend.
That's it.
Oh, there's a whole lot more.
Okay. Well, look here. I'm not. Look, I had experience.
You should leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it on the table. I'm gonna leave that on the table. Let me see who else we got here. Joyful J. What's on your heart, bro?
It's your boy Joyful J again. Great conversation today. Everyone have a great weekend again. If I didn't say it before, Happy Father's Day. I was gone for a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you back, too, brother. Good to have you back. Taretha, I need you to do I need you to do two things for me.
I got you. What you need?
I need you to say good evening, good afternoon, or whatever we're gonna say, and I need you to pray us out.
All right, good evening, and thank you again, as always, Raheem, for allowing me to express what I have going on to the city of Atlanta. And we're gonna pray. Father, we thank you for the reunion of these brothers coming on, talking about very crucial matters that's going on in the world today. Father, we know that you are looking down on each and every one of us, and we're asking God that you will, God, fix it, Jesus, like you said you would. And we're depending on you, God, to bless each and every family, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl, and that you will, God, heal not just this nation, but this world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. It's been a great broadcast. It's now 10:06. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK, your media group and associates, and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:06. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning if God say the same.